met a Compton crazy mother named Ice Cube from the gang called Fellers with Attitudes. When I'm called off, I got a soda, squeeze the trigger and bodies are hauled off. You too, boy, if you with me, the police are gonna have to come and get me off your ass. That's how I'm going out for the pump mother bitch showing out.
For the pump mother bitch showing out. Not bad, eh? How are you? Hi, Delvian. Hi, Si.
Evening.
Evening. Welcome to episode 3. What are you doing? Looking at the pool scores or something, Delvian?
Do you know what it is? I'm putting the live stream on so I can read the comments because normally I miss the comments and I don't know what's going on.
Look how famous he's getting. Listen to him now, Si.
Price of fame, that.
I'm seeing what the fans are saying. Do you know what I mean? Really, how does my hair look? Oh, it looks fine. Do you know what I mean? Oh, that's awesome. Well, welcome to episode 3 of Top 5 in your collection. And like I said, I get these lads on. We've had, obviously, Adam on and Des on. And who did we have on last week? I can't remember.
Connor DTM.
DTM and Connor, yeah, of course we did. And it's interesting to me. It's interesting to see how people have come up with their collections, what's famous in there, and all different types. Because I know yours is a little bit different tonight, like because you don't put your stuff out, and you haven't chose like one thing for your top 5. You've told like a topic for your top 5, haven't you?
It's not that. It's just that I collect so many of a certain item that for me, first thing, it's impossible to get everything out in that attic. Absolutely impossible. And the second thing, I couldn't decorate which one was my favourite one apart from a couple.
Oh, didn't it? Everybody said that.
Sort of. This is why I collect this one. Is if you'll have me.
Basically. I know. You know what I mean? Tell me, how did you come up with your top 5?
Difficulty. In fact, I was really struggling over the honourable mention, and I couldn't narrow it down. In fact, I still haven't. I'm going to know when it comes to when I have to present it. It's I'll know which one it is. But I tried to pick something a bit different from sort of like all different types of sort of like media. So we'll see. It's all a bit different, but it's all quite personal to me.
Right. So there's the thing as well, because we've had lads, you know what I mean? That's the thing about top 5. Des once said on it, you know, you pick a top 5, and then if you're on the week after, it could be a completely different top 5. It depends on how you look at your top 5. Do you see what I mean? Because a lot of people might turn around and go, "Oh, I've got this. It cost me this much money, so that's in my top 5," or emotions or gifts or whatever. I don't think you did an honourable mention, did you, Si? I think I've got.
I have got an honourable mention, but it's not necessarily in the sake of what's in my top 5. If you'll have
right.
me.
Well, that makes sense, Si. If it's not your top 5.
Is it a magic trick?
Hi, Ricardo. Good old Ricardo's here. Good old Gap. Oh, he's changed his avatar. Very nice, Gap. Hi, you are, Des. Just talking to you. Let's have a look. Palps is here. Hi, Palps. You're over 30 in the chat already, so thanks, everyone. I enjoy doing this. I think, like I say, it's a bit different, this. You know what I mean? Just sitting back and looking through people's collections and what they've got and so forth. So I really enjoy doing this one. Not that I don't enjoy the others. So it sounded like this one. Others is shit. You know? Hey, Matt's collection. Oh, let's have a look. Good old Oppie's here. Good old Ops. Good old DTM. Before we start, how was Liverpool Comic Con, Si?
It was really good, to be fair with you. We went down, me and DTM, Helen and Claire, and it was a really good event. Like afterwards, me and DTM always have a chat like, would we go again? Was it worth the money? And it was, to be fair with you, it was. It was a really good event, loads to see, loads happening, absolutely heaving. But it was set like spaced over the exhibition centre of Liverpool. So it wasn't like everybody squashed in one big room and stuff. So it was really good. Yeah, I had a great time.
Would you go again then?
Yeah, I would do. Yeah, if it's on next year, we probably
How much
will
was
do,
that?
yeah.
Was it expensive to go? Because Liverpool can be pricey.
I think it's £27 to get in. I think it was 27 quid. Which again, and the amount of people that were there, and I think more than anything, it was more about the autographs because there were so many people signing there. It was untrue. Every time you turn around, there was somebody famous. And
they had a good lineup of guests there. It was pretty. I was tempted to go, and I kind of wish I had a little bit now. They had a good.
It was always next year, Andy. It was always next year. But again, it was a great time. Really good.
Andy, if you could meet somebody famous, who would you want to meet? Anybody famous, who would you want to meet?
I can't answer that because I will give away a spoiler for one of my choices.
Oh, well, we'll go back to that like a segue. We'll go back to it.
Yeah.
Who would you say? Mine would be Naomi Campbell. Oh, my life.
To be fair with you, if I could meet anybody famous, it would be Madonna.
Madonna,
That's
would
the
it?
thing, yeah.
Right,
I've
why
always loved Madonna since being a kid. And she's like one of them that just always lives that Hollywood lifestyle, still to this day, I think. So out of everybody, I'd love to talk to Madonna.
She wouldn't be boring. I'd say that.
No,
You know?
No, that's what I mean. To be a proper eye opener, yeah.
Adam's Adam, good old Damon's here. All right, Damon. Good old Kieran's here saying hello to everybody. I put my glasses on because I can't do it anymore. I'm just looking stupid. So you know. So Keith Knight's here. All right, Keith. Who else is here? Let's have a look. Go through Mr. Redmond. Hello, Jonathan.
Mr. Redders.
When it rains, Chuck Norris waits for Delvian and carries him so he won't get his feet wet.
too right. It needs to be Chuck Norris though to be able to pick me up.
Hey, Zoe T. Hey, Cat Knight. Wow. Hey, John McGuire. Hey, James McGurk. Look at this. He's packed full of goodness. Look at this. Andy's about to learn about the time lag between YouTube and StreamYard.
Yeah, already figured it out, Matt. Thank you.
Yeah, we did it when we're dancing. I was singing, and it was like a Chinese dubbed movie. I was singing. Yeah. Oh, brilliant! Hit that like button, you muppets. Cheers, Kieran. Thank you very much. I'm just getting down there. Hi, Rob's Retro. Hi, and big howdy to the chat. Just finished watching Last Breath. I came across it. Have you heard about this movie? I've never heard about it, but it's a true story. So I'll just give you the synopsis in case you watch. It's on Peacock over here. It's Woody Harrelson and Simu Liu, and it's that guy who's in Peaky Blinders. But it's a true story about the guys that fix the gas tanks at the bottom of the ocean in the North Sea. And something happens, and it's a small budget movie, but it was superb. It was really good the way they did it. So, yeah, true story. And at the end, it showed all the true people and so forth. It was so. If you ever want to watch a decent, it's only on for an hour and a half, but it was decent enough. Is Thigh's honourable mention a big bag of dog biscuits?
Yeah. Help me down mountains.
Just told you, Rob. Hey, Coxie, good old Coxie's here. Hey, AP. Oh, look at this. Look at he's done his avatar. Look at all these new avatars. Look at this one. Oh,
everyone's gone posh.
Everyone's gone dead posh. You're right, Si. Divers at work on gas lines based on a true story. That's exactly right. Palps is here.
Was it in the 80s? That did it happen in the 80s?
No. Relatively new. That's what I thought as well. But it wasn't an explosion. You'll see if you watch it. You'll see. I've met 2 of my 3/4 of famous people I would like to meet. I'll get to meet the other 2, but hey ho. Right? Okay. Well, you didn't say who they were. TJC's here. Good old Bry's here. All right, Brian. Wow, everybody. Martin's here. I'm enjoying these. Are you enjoying these Andor things? I'm enjoying them. They're good. I listen to them, and I'm on the treadmill, and I just put it on for an hour, and it's the right time. But it's a good show. I'm enjoying what they're doing there. Have you watched it, boys?
Yeah, it's one of those shows. I was saying to Martin the other day. Actually, it's you have to let it sink in a little bit because sometimes when I first watch it, and I kind of think, "Oh, what was that?" But it sinks in a little bit afterwards, and sometimes if I watch it again, it's like, okay, it makes a little bit more sense.
Yeah,
so I am enjoying it though. Being very quiet there, Si.
No, that's when he's just walked in. That's all like he wasn't.
Si loves Andor. He's Si's favourite. Tell him, Si, how much you love Andor.
I'm saving it all for Martin's show on Thursday.
Yeah.
Be prepared. I have some stuff to say. Don't worry about that. My God. I was watching it the other day, right? And there was this scene in it where, he's chopping up in the kitchen. She's getting all these clothes out. And the music's going. And I was like,
jeez, Gab.
No, I've got lots of. I'm saving it for Martin's. So I can get a full rant out.
I'm saving it for Martin. So if you subscribe to Martin, make sure you still subscribe to him Friday morning because he might be cancelled after what Si says.
I'm on that stream with you. So.
Oh, bring some earmuffs.
I'll bring some popcorn.
How many times is he going to say the F word? Good evening, Vintage Toy Room.
Have you two been liking it? Have you two been liking it?
I love it. I've got to admit, and the thing is, I've said it for the first season too, and I understand what people are saying. Oh, it's slow, and but I'm a big book reader, and to me, it's all. I've always said it. For me, for movies, I don't care about crash bang wallop, CGI, what famous. If it's a great story, it's got me captivated, and this is another good story. The story's really, really good, and the build. And I tell you what, it's funny considering we all don't like women in Star Wars. There's 3 women in this series. They're the best thing I've ever seen. Deidre, Bix, and Mon Mothma, Genevieve O'Reilly. They just steal the show.
Yeah, Bix, the crackhead of Coruscant. Yeah, crackhead of Coruscant. Yeah. What's next week's? Is she on game next week or what?
But that Deidre, I mean, and one of the things for me about Star Wars is if you can create characters, regardless whether it's Lucasfilm, Disney, or whoever, if you can create characters that you would, if they turn around and said, we're making a show on them, and you go, yeah, fine. If they could make a Deirdre show, they could make a Luthen show, Saw Gerrera show. Do you know what I mean? I think the acting in it and the storyline to me is superb.
I mean, Deirdre in particular, the first series, there were certain points I found myself rooting for her because sort of like she was, and then I had to catch myself and think, oh no, she's like a real psycho. I have to sort of, I'm not rooting for her at all. But I mean,
she's the best in it, though, isn't she? She is the best.
Yeah,
there's one thing that keeps me watching that show. It's definitely her, definitely.
Just her and the mother-in-law alone was just worth it.
Yeah, she's superb, though, isn't she? She's brilliant. And I think what it is to me, they just, I don't know, they've captivated me, and I'm enjoying it. You know, I understand that people are this and that, you know, and I'm glad you are the way you are, our side, because I'd rather people tell the truth and just go along with the flow. Do you know what I mean? I think that's what it is. And no, to me, Andor's been. It's a few things, like I say, that not brilliant, but nothing's ever brilliant anymore. But no, I'm enjoying it. Q said, I would like to meet Dina Meyer, who plays Dizzy Flores in Shock.
She was there, wasn't she?
I'd like to meet her with you.
Brace yourselves for Thursday. Poor Andy. Sat there like that. Go on, Si.
I said to him, I did say the other day, you've got to be fair to. I said, are you sure you want me on? Because I won't. Well,
I think that's what makes the best villains, though. Villains who don't think they are villains, not these mustache twirling, taking on the world or whatever. The way she plays it, that's why Tarkin was always one of my favorite characters, because the way they play it's the job, and they're so brainwashed, and you know, they know what they're doing there. What they're doing is right. That they come across like that, and I think that's what makes a superb villain to me. I really do. Yo, Disco Man, you dancer, you're excited. Oh, you mean the Mon Mothma disco scene? That's what you said then. I think she was in Europe somewhere the past week.
Shocking.
Nice one. My favourite so far is Claire. Yeah, she's good too. I've got to admit, all the women in Andor are superb. Yeah, she's good.
Which one's Claire?
The one. Go on, Andy.
She's Luthen's assistant. She's the one who was trying to get the bug off.
I know you mean. Yeah. One that looks a bit like Princess Leia, doesn't she?
Yeah, she does a bit.
Good call, Si. Yeah, she does. Coxie says, I haven't seen any of Series 2 of Andor yet. I've been watching The Handmaid's Tale. I've never seen it before, and it's incredible. I've always wanted to start that, but yeah.
It is great, that. It's a proper dark. It's film dead eerie as well.
I have a public service announcement for my logo.
Oh, Marty, listen, it's a family show. I'm not going to come on all query.
Think about so be nice. Brilliant. Yeah. Oh, God. Yeah. I would have liked to meet Linda Lovelace when she was alive. Oh, yeah, she's an interesting life. I read that the actress who plays Deirdre studied female psychopaths to get ready for she shows. What a talent! You know, I think she steals every scene. I loved that part last week where she gets the black dress and she forces that smile on her face. Like and you can see it's her. They're smiling in that mirror while she's holding this dress up.
I did actually meet her at Celebration. Last Celebration in Europe. Yeah, I decided I had my photo done with her, Wedge and Tilly's, but I managed to speak to her for a little bit and said, that she was absolutely brilliant in the show, and she's like, "Thank you." And it's sort of like, I
She
think
goes,
she was.
"Here's the curly whirly."
Yeah, no, the curly whirly is mine. Andy doesn't share curly whirlies.
Oh,
No,
Science said she's been in a few English things. I say we're not going to get it much over here, but she's been in. I remember in a film. Was it with Jennifer Lopez or something? She played a baddie in that recently. Was it Lopez or something? She was in it because she's Irish, isn't she? Andy?
Yeah, Connor told me
she's
the other night.
Irish.
Yeah,
I think she was quite overwhelmed by it all, actually, from after the first series. So.
Yeah, she was. Yeah, but I bet it'd be weird if you first come in to start, especially if you go to a celebration. I bet you're like, "What the France is this?" Do you know what I mean? All those people.
Yeah.
Cat Knight says Handmaid's Tale is brilliant. Have you ever seen that, boys? Handmaid's Tale.
Yeah, that's what we've just been talking about. Then it's really good show. Mad Men's in it. And, it's really eerie, but it's good. It was Claire that watches it, but the scenes in it reminds me of the Black Narcissus at the end, you know, when she pushes the other nun down the thingy. Her eyes are all like mental. It's like that.
That scared us as a kid.
I read the book. Yeah,
Frightened me to death as a kid.
Yeah, Margaret Atwood. Yeah,
Margaret Atwood. Evening all and happy bank holiday to all those in the UK. Hope you all are well. Thank you, Mark. Good old Donut Don is here. Yes, Adam. It was the last series being advertised that made me start it from series 1. It's so dark and dystopian, like what our size and Andy's just said, but I just can't switch it off. No, if it's written properly, that's the thing. Did she tell you, Andy, you know you sound like a whispering Bob Harris? You're getting a lot of things with your smooth and sexy voice here, Andy. I've noticed this in a couple of streams that people are talking about your voice.
I shall have to try and pick up some extra work.
And now, Shabby Geek. Thank you, Andy. Cyril Defo falls under the don't think he's a villain job. He's just doing his job and eating till brilliant character again. Brilliant character. Do you know what I mean? That's what I mean. How do you not like it, Si? Everyone's awesome in it. Coxie says, properly good. Remember to hit that mute button. Cheers, George.
Thank you, George.
Hey, Chris. Good old Chris. Mad Men is honestly one of the best. It was until the last 2 seasons, and I just laughed. At the end, when he was sat there doing I just went off it because he started off Mad Men brilliantly. I loved it. Absolutely. When I say I was proper like...
It was, I remember you used to come to mind saying to me, you've got to watch this show, you've got to watch this show. Yeah. And then I remember something happened in your house, Mark, or something, and you had to come out of your house for an hour, and you and Jen came to watch Mad Men here.
Yeah.
And I watched it with you, and I thought, he's dead right, this is mint. But the last season of it, I couldn't finish off, I'll tell you the truth, I couldn't. And I didn't want to after I started hearing all these things, and I thought, I'm just going to leave it as it is.
Awful Mad Men. It really did.
Yeah.
It was brilliant, then it just went down. It's like just my opinion, and I absolutely loved it. Don Draper was one of the best characters. John Slattery was really good in it, and it just went. You know, so yeah, I really did enjoy it, but now it just went. But his new one, I agree with that. Are you watching his new one, Friends and Neighbours on Apple? It's really good. I
don't have Apple.
It's really good. You got it. I think it's I've said it on ZSR loads of times, fellas. I think Apple's the best streaming out there. Just Severance was brilliant. You know what I mean? Really good. All right, George. Let me get down here a bit, and we'll get to you. Honourable mentions, nuns. If they're not fighting Nazis, they're all going bonkers.
Yeah, I need to resubscribe to Apple.
Terrified me.
You need to resubscribe to Apple. It's really good.
I need to watch the second series of Silo, and there's a new series coming out about a robot. It's from that guy who's from True Blood's in it or something. Yeah. It actually looks really entertaining.
Yeah, one of the stars.
I've forgotten the name of it. That's it. Yeah,
that looks really good too. Thing was good. The one where she had the Japanese robot, and she went, and it was done in Japan. That was Sunny. That's what it was called. That was brilliant. I've yet to see a crap Apple show, to be honest. Blackbird was really good. You know, look at me advertising for him. I really would like to meet Jason Donovan. Well, watch every Friday. He's right there. Hello, Claire's here. I'm getting down a bit because I always fall miles behind. So we're not in a rush, are we? The new show with John Hamm is excellent. Yeah, it's really good. It's a really good story. I disagree. Loved it all from start to finish. Well, I'm glad you did. Good stuff. Epic Badger. I've got some news for you, boys. I might as well tell you right now. Next week's show is Epic Badger and VTR. On top of How about that? It's a good old set. I agree with that, Apple. Yeah, it is. I agree with that, Adam. Yeah. If anyone hasn't watched Paradise, right. I've seen it, but I've never started it. But all you English lads and Irish lads are telling me how good it is and so forth.
It's good.
So it is.
It is good, but I can't really tell you anything about it.
Right. Okay. Is it like a CIA thing? Is it like a spy thing?
I can't tell you anything about it. You've just got to watch it.
Right, okay.
I'm not giving you any spoilers for it at all. So I'm not going to ruin it.
Loves it from start to finish. I'd like to meet Cliff Richardson. So I can hit him in the face with a packet of wet cat shit. A packet of wet cat shit.
You see, I'm starting to deny this. I think Keith always had a thing about being a member of the Shadows, and he wanted to be the bass player. And I think years back, Cliff Richard said, "No, he's not the one for us." And Keith's always had this hatred of Cliff Richard.
Is that what it is?
Ever since.
I don't know.
Because he was not back from the Shadows.
Packet of crisps with wet cat shit. That's oddly specific. Like he's practiced this in his mind quite a few times.
I'm loving it. The kids who knock on his door.
It's a wall in Keith's house with a Cliff Richard poster on it. I don't want to know what's on it. You know what I mean? Training like Daniel LaRusso. You know? Oh, really? I'm coming inside. You sussed it. Keith, I guess you're resigning from the presidency of the Cliff Richard. Is he still alive, Cliff Richard? Is he still going?
I think so. He must be.
How old is he? He's got to be. How old? He's got to be in his 80s now, Cliff Richard. For anyone who doesn't know Cliff Richard, he's a he's a famous British singer, but he's been got what is it, 50s or 60s? Some holiday and all that, wasn't it? So
yeah.
Yeah.
He was originally billed as Britain's answer to Elvis Presley or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
But
he's like an Elvis from Timu, isn't he? If you put Elvis from Timu, Cliff Richard turns up.
It's weird, Cox, he says this, right? Because I loved Blackad, but never watched Time Team ever. And a couple of months back, it was on YouTube. So I watched one, and they're really good, aren't they?
Really?
There's a field in Dorset. Ends up
being
a Roman
Vic and
Empire.
Bobby used to always do the long hair bloke from Cornwall, and here he is, the long hair bloke from Cornwall. Time Team.
I would like to meet Mr. Blobby and ask him why, Mr. Blobby. Jeepers. The reason Keith hates Cliff is because they are the same age.
Oh, too far, Kieran.
Jeez, Kieran. Jeez. Damon. Honestly, I can't watch this show as soon as it comes out. Latest You series, watched it all in one night back to back with the same Black Mirror. I did the same with Black Mirror. Black Mirror started off brilliantly, went dipped a bit, then it came up a bit really good. But I hate that. I hate that now having to wait a week. That's the only problem with this John Hans show on Apple. You have to wait every bloody week for an episode. Do you know what I mean? It drives you mental. Yeah. Cliff is 84.
84.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cliff Richard loves West Ham. Connor, I heard he tried to get into the youth team once. Here we go. Cliff Richard.
Oh, yeah. Anne-Marie's she's a big fan of Cliff Richard.
Look at her kicking off at all. What?
Anne-Marie's getting prepared now like Commando.
Oh, brilliant.
It's like Ripley at the end of Aliens.
I can just imagine. You can take your pack of cat shit and stick it on your back. Absolutely. Well, there you are. Now it's time for honourable mentions. There he is, my friend Andrew. What's your honourable mention, Andrew?
Okay. It's this, which at first you think, what the hell is this? It is a box of postcards of Ralph McQuarrie artwork.
Right.
And this is one of the sort of, it is literally just sort of loads and loads and loads of sort of like sort of pictures and everything. But I love this. It's, I can swap the postcards over and sort of like, it's like a little day calendar or something like that. I can change the pictures over. But I bought this years and years ago, and I've always liked the style of Ralph McQuarrie. And I remember one of the first Bosk's Bounty videos I ever watched was him reviewing this years and years and years ago. But no, that's my honourable mention. I just sort of like, I love Star Wars art. Sometimes I sort of feel as though it's more Star Warsy than sort of some of the TV programs, not mentioning any names, sort of like modern stuff, but I just love this. It's sort of,
It wouldn't be Star Wars without Ralph McQuarrie. It just wouldn't be. It wouldn't.
But do you know what? I'll tell you one thing that amazes me being an artist myself, and it's how fast and beautiful Ralph McQuarrie's work was. Because again, Andy, look at the stack of that for work overall, just to get it all ready, just to show what Star Wars looked like.
Yeah,
amazing. It's one of the greatest artists of the 20th century, without a doubt. Without a doubt.
I mean, Doug Chang sort of like does sort of like a pretty decent job, but it's not the same. It's a different style, and I just love it. And I love where they're bringing some of his work sort of like back into it now as well. Sort of like actually, he's got the Rebels characters. A lot of it is all based purely on his artwork.
I've never seen it. It's superb. So you can just change the picture constantly and have a different look and so forth.
Yeah. So, and it's just nice, sort of like just have a look through. I mean, I love all this sort of stuff. So
no, I'm on for that. I love all that sort of stuff. Exactly right. Fuller's Figures says Delvian Seek has an amazing intergalactic, and it's right there. So if anyone would like to follow our Andy, there you are. There you are. It's right there. That is so sweet, says our Des.
Yeah.
Claire says I could listen to Andy talk all day.
People like that. Can he come and stay at our house? Yes, he can, Claire. Yes, he can.
Gorgeous Heart says our Damon.
I should do a few audio books or something like that.
There you go. Make me too, Claire. He should do audio. Hi.
Good evening.
Andy could do audiobooks. Can imagine him reading Cliff's biography.
Not sure about that one.
One summer on a summer holiday, the double decker was full. They brought the guitars. Oh, Keith Knight applauded.
And then he threw cat shit beverages.
There was lots of hungry cats. Oh, I've recently commissioned a certain Andor hating bamboo fella to do an art piece.
Oh, listen, Damien sent me this picture, and it's one of his favourite artists, and he said it's like a quick sketch picture with his signature on.
Hi, Emma.
Oh, just to say it's Emma's birthday tomorrow as well, so happy birthday for tomorrow, Emma. 21 tomorrow.
21.
So he's commissioned me he wants me to take this and do something with it. Oh, you wait to see what I'm going to do with that. No problem whatsoever.
Are you going to trace it, Si?
Yeah, trace it over, colour it in, crayons, paint at the top.
Ralph also, Simon and Andy, did the designs for Battlestar Galactica. He has done a few things before, hasn't he? I was watching this documentary once, and there was a book, and he had his work in there that had nothing. It was before Star Wars, and I thought, wow, he's superb. He's like a very unique. It's like an Alex Ross thing, Simon. I'll talk to you, Brian Ballon. Ralph McCoy's the same way. You know his artwork straight away, don't you?
And the thing is, like what you said before about Doug Chang, I think Doug Chang is an amazing artist, but Ralph McQuarrie seems to create a world with his art. When you look at it, you look and you look and you look, and you get more into the soul of that work of it. And it's so weird, especially for the first Star Wars prints that he did. You can see Star Wars in all of them, even before it was even made or produced. So they must have relied so heavily on that artwork. They must have just looked at it. George Lucas must have just fell in love with it. Do you know what I mean? And again, for me, one of the main artists of the 20th century, easily. I
wonder if he do that then. Sorry, Andy, because I was just saying to Jonathan. Said also he did the designs for Battlestar, but Battlestar was before. Was it before or after Star Wars? Battlestar?
It was after. It was about the same time, but I think they kind of rushed it. Battlestar, sort of like because Star Wars had come out. But no, I think Si, you're completely right. I mean, one of the things I love about Star Wars is the world building, and he's kind of responsible for a lot of that art design. But I mean, Lucas knew to bring the right people in, like John Williams, Ralph McQuarrie.
100%, right. That's what it's all about. The reason why it's on, to me, my opinion, the reason why it's on such a pedestal, Star Wars, is because it's your Real Madrid of filmmaking. Every world-class person or every talented person worked on it, from your designers to your artists to everything, you know, your model makers. And to get lightning in a bottle like that 3 times is unheard of, isn't it? It really is. Brian says, happy birthday. I mean, my daughter turned 21. Well, happy birthday to your daughter, Mr. Myers. Happy birthday to her. Oh, thanks. No problem at all. Simon, what's your honourable mention, Bubba?
Well, it's not really as such getting something out for an honourable mention. My honourable mention really is the past 5 years being in this community, I have received some absolutely amazing and fantastic gifts off people. But it's come to a point now where we're in the 6th year where there's just so many to name. I couldn't possibly name them all. And I'd only leave somebody out if I did. But honestly, over these years, I've had presents through this door that have absolutely overwhelmed me. And it all goes off people just thinking about you, seeing something, thinking of you, thinking they'd love that. And they pick it up and they send it you. And so that really is my honourable mention, just for once, just to say thank you for absolutely everybody that's ever sent me anything. You know, I'll treasure it forever. I'll never get rid of it. I'll know what it is. As soon as it's all my collections back out like everybody else's, I'll know exactly who's got me something. And that's my honourable mention, really, just to say thanks a lot to everybody that has.
Yeah.
Big softy. What's the matter with you, big softy? Really unbelievable. You know, you're not going to start crying or something.
Yeah.
You hit the nail on the head. You really have, and that's one of the things about the collection as well. Because I always said, it's sometimes you could do a collection of that. You know what I mean? Your top 5, but could you do a collection of that? Because you don't want to hurt somebody's feelings, or is this better than that one, and so on. But some of the stuff that
you mention, because like I said, you know, there's been so many in 6 years. You've made so many nice friends, and so many people have sent you some great stuff, from John O to Smith Lord to Luke Reynolds. The list goes on and on and on and on.
Yes,
you know
sir.
what I mean? And what I love more than anything is that the thought of you. That's who they've thought of. These people have not been in these chats or on a stream where you've met up with them. They've gone out, Adam Berry, seen something, I know would love that, and he's picked it up, and I just love that sort of thing. I think it's a lovely thing, me. I do.
Yeah.
You know, when you look at the world today and everybody's such a knobhead, it's always nice to see that there's a lot of people that aren't. Do you know what I mean? That they still think of the fellow man, and I like that. I like that a lot.
That's a nice honourable mention. That makes perfect sense. It really does. Fuller's Figure said, subscribe to Delvian Seek. The link is also in the description of this live stream. So there you are. Subscribe to Delvian. We've got some breaking news. Unfortunately, she's not really 21. No.
Oh well. 22.
His Degapar piece of artwork could just stare at it all day.
Yeah,
that's the thing. Yeah, definitely. I looking at Brian. I fell for that. Emma's not really 21. Emma's 21 plus post. Pod Racing Pap says Ralph McCoy used to work for Boeing. Maybe that's what it was then, because you could be on the point there, Paps, because it was something, when I was watching this documentary, it was something completely different. It wasn't like pop culture. So that's probably what it was. Yeah, not to be Boeing. Right, got it. Here we go. Nice undercover Real Madrid jab there, Shabby. I'm just saying.
He's a right bitch, isn't he, Martin? He's a right bitch.
I'm not trying to cause any trouble. I think Trent Alexander-Arnold, after watching his farewell video this morning, he's going to be brilliant at Real Madrid. That's all I'm saying. I just wish him all the best. Sometimes people need to go to bigger and better, don't they? It's obvious. Do you know what I mean?
Popcorn at the ready.
I'm just saying. I wish him all the best. Happy birthday, man. Do yourself a favour, says Arcana Fuller, and check out Size Sunny. Yeah, you put up some old school stuff this week, though. You Spider-Man and
I'm building it up because John keeps telling me off that I haven't started my t-shirt business off. He tells me off once a week, so I'm deciding to build it up until the launch comes. So there'll be quite a few bit of art coming up.
The one that stands out to me is always that the I don't know what she's called, unfortunately. The bad queen the evil queen in there.
Oh, Queen Grimhilda.
That picture you do, how you've drawn that to me, honestly, it's spectacular. It really, really is.
I like the old look of Disney. I like Disney from the 50s and the 60s and the 70s, and when Disney was absolutely golden. The cartoons they made were golden. Do you know what I mean? I like that sort of thing.
I send Si loads of stuff, but it's for me.
He does.
Keith Knight says, I absolutely love it. for the thoughtfulness that's out there. Yeah, it is, and we've spoke about that a few times, and that was nice, Simon. That's a good honourable mention. I'm being sincere there. It does take you back. I remember when I first started, people were sending you stuff, and it's overwhelming. I think it's like, wow, it's like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. But then you start getting them from abroad as well. That's what blows my mind. Yeah. Not only somebody's thought of something, paid that post and packaging, sent it over, and they're here forever doing it. And it's just a lovely thing, I think.
Yeah, brilliant. There's a picture I wanted to show of you in DTM, but I haven't got it. I wish I would have got it of you in DTM in that dojo. It's one of the funniest pictures I've laughed about that.
I have to go to Miyagi Do with the Karate Kid, didn't I? I've got the Karate Kid there.
I know, it's just two middle-aged blokes. Like, should we do this? Yeah, let's do it.
Oh, I tell you what, if you should have seen how much me and Dave were laughing trying to do that, we were laughing our heads off.
Battlestar Galactica was afterwards a 20 Fox sued Universal for infringing copyright with their spaceships. I wonder if they said that to him, though. But how do you work with somebody like Ralph McCoy? I wonder if, like, George Lucas or the people at Battlestar said, this is how I want it to look. Or he just came up with it. What do you think?
No, because I remember seeing some of the Battlestar sort of like sketches, because it was on some of the books and stuff. And the Vipers and the Battlestars, it's almost like for like from what you see in the series from his paintings. I mean, and even down to some of the scenes in sort of like the first sort of like film, it's pretty mint, actually. You've now got me wanting to search for those prints.
I tell you, when we went to Liverpool Comic Con yesterday, there was a guy dressed as a Cylon, but it's the gold one, and this outfit was absolutely mint. Should have seen just Dave. This Cylon outfit was crazy good, like the old version.
That's the thing. I mean, I know they stopped doing it. Hasbro did with toys with the chrome, but you can't have a different Cylon without it being cloned, can you? When Si pops his clogs, I will sell all his stuff and I'll be rich. So thanks, everyone. They are Claire a favour. Si, do you have a magic trick to make biscuits disappear quickly?
Yeah, I scoff them, especially if they're bourbons. I eat them, they're gone.
That's a lovely thought, Claire. Only if there's really anything in those boxes.
Imagine.
Gap After Dark has just subscribed to our Delvian. Well, you'll be impressed.
Thank you, Gap.
This is what you'll get. You can't get better, can you? Do you know what I mean? He's also our Delv. To be fair, the amount of stick Shabby gets about Everton, I do think he's just making an honest statement. I mean,
he's an Everton fan, and he deserves all he gets, doesn't he?
Right, we can start now. Gilster's here. Where have you been? Me and Mandy was saying, where's Gilster? Do you know what I mean? He's here. Hiya, Rob. Yes, there's a lawsuit where Star Wars sues Battlestar Galactica over perceived design similarities. And John Dykstra, who worked on Star Wars visual effects, was involved in the situation. Wow, that's interesting.
Did Lucasfilm not end up buying Battlestar Galactica?
I don't think
Was there not something in that, like the way they got over this? Did they not buy it?
I don't know, because I know that John Dykstra, he was involved in Star Wars, but Lucas wasn't happy with him. So I think he kind of got sacked after the first film, and then he went off and did sort of like other stuff. So, because I think he did Battle Beyond Stars and stuff like that as well.
Because I remember that ILM did all the graphics for Star Trek Next Generation. Because when that ended and it pops up, graphics by ILM, I was like, what? Star Trek? ILM? So I wonder why Battlestar Galactica they were a bit funny with.
So our Chris says here, the Colonial Viper was originally from Buck Rogers, but they changed the design to be more like X-Wings trying to jump on the bandwagon. So they give it that kind of look then, because they are similar. Yeah, I agree with that. That makes sense. The Buck Rogers fighter was an awesome design too.
It was, yeah, it was.
No, George Lucas did not buy Battlestar Galactica.
No.
Oh, look at Brian. I'll have a bit of Delvian as well. I tell you what.
Once you look at the channel, you'll unsubscribe there. But thank you anyway.
It's all like this. It's every video of Curly Whirly, that's it.
I should do that.
Please subscribe. Absolutely brilliant. Anyway, before I get in trouble, let's start off a look at Cyan Andy's number 5. Dead. So, right. I've got you first. So, here we go. So, your number 5, Si, is Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. For the main.
How did I know?
You knew it was somewhere. Didn't you?
Oh,
For the main reason is, you know, people say that they've waited 40 years for figures and stuff, but I can honestly say when I was a kid, Dungeons and Dragons of the Mall was my favorite ever cartoon. I adored it. I adored it to this day. Even when I'm drawing, I'll find the old videos on YouTube, press play, let them all play. I just love this cartoon. And me and my brother Rick, my younger brother Rick, he had a massive love for it as well. And every year we'd look for figures, every single year. And all we'd ever find is like a big expensive statue or something like, because you wanted the cartoon figures. So when Hasbro released these a couple of years back, my head blew off, because even though, you know, people say, oh, I've waited 40 years, I genuinely have waited 40 years for these figures. I know now that Super 7 have made some, and for me, the Super 7 are a little tiny bit better than these ones are. But just to get these figures, you know, when I watched this, I was 10 years of age. So now I'm coming into my 50s. It's just amazing I can get my hands on them, you know. So these are my top 5, really. I just love these figures. I love this show.
What was it about this show, though, Si? Because I know
I think it felt like a little mini movie every week. The soundtrack was always brilliant. I love the opening on the roller coaster and stuff. And then they were in this realm where they could just never get home. And I remember that it finished, it run out of budget or something, and the show finished without them getting home. But there was a group, and they made the last series. It's called Requiem, and it's on YouTube. It's amazing.
Yeah,
the voices are the same, the artwork's the same, and it finishes it off once and for all. But again, it's what a great show. And when I saw the Dungeons and Dragons movie, and these played like a little bit part in the background, I love that. I thought that was absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, I agree, and I've got all these. I bought all these as well, but I've got to be honest. I think I bought them simply love. I remember you loving this. You loved it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And
and
I think that's where it came from me, because it was always on when we were kids, and it was a great show. And I remember, what is it, Hank and Sheila and Diana and Eric, Bobby. Do you know what I mean? And what was he called? Festo? Was he? Was it
Presto?
Presto. Sorry.
Presto. Yeah.
My favourite was always Sheila the Thief, because again, as a massive manga fan, when she slid that hood up and the noises go whoop, 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 like just some mad manga noise when the hood went up to invisible, I just loved it. I just loved the whole show. I loved it.
If they did a HasLab tier, Matt, would you get it?
Well, the Super 7 have done one, and it's 300 odd quid, and I think I will eventually get my hands on that, because it just looks like the T-Mac from the cartoon. It doesn't do much, and for 300 and odd £, it's a bit of a lump of plastic for that. But again, it looks brilliant.
Oh, brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Andy whispering sweet nothings whilst eating a curly whirly. I bet Jen would subscribe to that. I bet she would, to be honest. Yeah. I love that Eric was voiced by Ralph the Mouth from Happy Days. I never knew that.
Yeah, there was so many. Wow. Was it Peter Cullen as well who did Venger? Peter Cullen, wasn't it? Voice of Optimus. He did Venger, and so all them voices were famous in the 80s, weren't they?
Why do you think they never brought it back, Si? Because TJC's made a point right here. They should have done another season, but so it was just like a one-off kind of thing, was it?
Yeah, I think there was 28 shows fully. That was it. And when I was a kid, I thought there was hundreds, because you always caught a different one, but there was not many at all. No.
Yeah, they are very cool. I agree. Were you a fan of it, Andy, as a kid? Did you?
Yep, I've got the DVD somewhere. That was one of the first sort of like DVDs of sort of like going back and visiting my childhood series that I went out and got. I loved that series. Yeah. And you're right, there was only one season, but I watched that same Requiem episode, and when I discovered it on YouTube, I was sort of like, excellent. And I was thinking, please be good. And it was good. It was a good ending to it. And I'm not giving any spoilers in case people want to go out and watch it and they haven't seen it. But it was a decent ending to it.
So Martin's saying here, can you get the Avenger? Yes, you can. Yes. There it is right there. It was a double pack. It was a Target exclusive over here. Andy found it for me. Andy at Hollow Chronicles found it, because I couldn't find it anywhere. But it came with a Dungeon Master and Avenger. And it was, you see, good number 5, that R-side. That's a great number 5, because it worked brilliantly. G-Force, hi, Shabby, Si Delvian. Boy, have I had a day. Oh, go on then. What's happened? I had a day of the DMV to 3:30. Sorting out stupid real ID. Yeah. Get your real ID sorted out. Let's have a look. Shabby, Si Delvian, good old Gilsa saying hello to everybody. And the one fan ended on YouTube. What's that? Is that to do with
Oh, it's Tim, and it could be anything. Could be anything.
Mr. B? Hi, Mr. B. Wow, everybody's turned up 50. Blooming brilliant. Let's have a look. Bought the DVDs and my daughter loved them. Tried again with her younger brother years later and he couldn't be asked. There's a few things on my kids that do that the same way. Like Masters of the Universe, they loved it, the 80s cartoon. But other things I've tried to show them, they're not really they weren't that bothered
Do you
about.
think now there's come a point in children where 2D animation looks poor to them? Do you think that's what it is in a sense? That it looks old-fashioned? They're not. I mean, look at the cartoons kids get today. They're all special effects and CGI, and they look amazing. But do you think they look at then, especially now, 2025, an 8-year-old would look at 2D and go, "What the hell's that like?" You never know, do you? Yeah.
That's a good point. I was just thinking about that then. Because all my kids watch 3D kind of stuff like Sonic, they love all that sort of stuff. Do you know what I mean? So,
I mean, just think how we reacted when we got shown like Steamboat Mickey and sort of stuff like that. You kind of think, yeah, that's good.
Sometimes though, I think in the 80s, we lived in a golden time of cartoons, though. I mean, the way they were made, Thundercats intro will be the greatest manga intro I've ever seen in my life. Ulysses was just amazing. Transformers was just amazing. I think we lived in a golden era of them.
I mean, 70s as well. I mean, I used to love the old Flash Gordon sort of like filmation, sort of like series, cartoon series. That was brilliant. I love that.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I watched a documentary on the Holograms cartoon a couple of months back, and they took the old filmation thing. And if you watch the start where she's dancing, it's done very, very like it was the first time. Let me get this right, so I don't look like a plonker. It was the first time they've used that real motion image on cartoons. You know what I mean? Because He-Man was the first to do it when he was walking. Do you remember when he was punching at the start? And then Jem made it a little bit more evolved. But I didn't realize that most of the people that worked on G.I. Joe and He-Man also worked on Jem. Same writers, same directors, same. Do you know what I mean? It's just, so I think that's where our love came from, because majority of them were all done by the same people, weren't they? So it was an easy thing, really. If you look at them all, it wasn't hard to do, was it? So let's just get down here, maybe if we get to our answer number 5.
Just wait for Smith Lord's comment.
Not forgetting all the awesome songs for the intros. I love that. I'll sit down with my kids, Connor, and I'll play those YouTube things where they've put an hour together of all intros, and I'm singing along, and my kids are looking like I'm a right dickhead. Jem!
You just feed in the chat at this point.
I don't know why I bother. I think so much of the modern 2D cartoons just look crap. Thanks, Jono. The Gal's art style has really messed up modern animation, not a patch on the stuff we grew up on. Yeah, that's a good way of looking at it. Space Ghost. Who had 47 minutes in the Shabby's mentioned in Gem's the hair the inspiration for CSR. I still loved all those Looney Tunes cartoons, but despite
especially the early ones, the early Looney cartoons is some of the best you'll ever watch in your life.
Yeah, there was always something about Bugs Bunny singing and dancing old 40s tunes.
Yeah,
I just loved it. The way he used his carrot as his cigar when he was singing them,
just brilliant, weren't it?
Absolutely.
I always preferred them than Disney cartoons because Looney Tunes were a little bit naughty, weren't they? They were always smoking and with a gun on them or kissing each other. They're just a little bit naughty, weren't they?
They were brilliant. Have you seen the new Star Wars shorts? Not yet. I'm going to watch that tonight, and I've heard good things. Hong Kong Fooey's greatest cartoon intro ever, says our VTR.
Hong Kong Fooey. Duck season. Wabbit season.
Wabbit season. What's your number 5, Andy?
Bit boring, I'm afraid, but it's a book. And when I was on Tub Thumpers, I showed you a few of the books and everything. But this is the first one of those sort of like technical journals that I ever got, and it's back in the 90s. I think it's one of the first ones that came out, and this will tell you sort of like how much of a nerd that I am, because it has pullouts of technical designs of ships and things like that. So those were my sort of like pull out sort of like in magazines and books. But I mean, I loved it because I was into the dioramas and everything. And it did all the, I'm trying to find a particular one, just like a map of the cantina and Jabba's palace and stuff like that. And I'd never seen anything like this before. So, and this book has managed sort of like to stay with me through countless moves, having a mug of coffee thrown on it by accident, sort of like, but I've managed to keep hold of it. And a lot of the stuff I've lost over the years, but this I managed to keep hold of. So it's a little bit boring, but it means a lot to me. This is and it sparked off. I've got loads of other sort of like books and sort of like since then, but this is the one that started it all, really.
The funniest thing is, and sale contests is because I've seen his library at home as well. I've always had a fondness for books, magazines, old annuals. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I know exactly because it's not boring to us at all. We love that kind of stuff. You know, so that's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
I've got every single book, an annual and library book and Ladybird book we ever got as kids. I've still got every one. I love books like that. They're brilliant.
This is what they thought the Crate Dragon looked like back in the 90s.
Brilliant.
Looks like my ex-missus.
I got that magazine in the late 90s, says George. Yep. See what I mean? You say it's boring and look at these lads. Oh, I love tech books and all that.
Yeah.
Say. Let's have a look. Star Wars porn mag. What we last
exactly.
Australia. Whoa.
And it's like, cool, look at that.
Scooby worked because for me, animation was. I loved Scooby Doo, John. I loved it. Do you know what I mean? A book being shown. How long till Scott Whitehouse turns up and unless he's busy signing autographs after last night? Nobody mentioned library books. Brilliant. Still got them from the 90s. Pick up all 3 Imperial Rebel tech books and had them on order at a local paper shop. See,
nice,
you thought it was boring.
They don't do a lot of this sort of like stuff that much anymore, though. It's.
God, you were saying before you were rudely interrupted.
No, let's carry on with that. But I mean, they just don't actually put that much sort of like effort like they used to with sort of like stuff like this anymore. I find they just reprint sort of like earlier books and just add on a couple of extra pages. So most of the stuff they have to find online. So,
it's a bit like the older Star Wars, Delvin. Nobody seems to put a lot of effort in it anymore, do they? You know, from everything to what I've been watching, to be fair.
Just this, after that, don't forget to watch Andy and Simon on Martins. And I wonder if they go back to these books or now. You know, when you see like Battlefront and then you're going through like Bespin and you're going through like the Hoth Rebel play. And, you know, in the movies, we only saw like the, 1 or 2 sets of it. But in the games or whatever, they go through the whole lot. And I wonder if they referred to these books to try and keep it as canon as possible. Because obviously, they came first. Do you know what I mean?
Well, do they not? They have somebody in charge, don't they, Andy? Somebody's at Lucasfilm who's in charge of all this, don't they? Don't they have not Pablo Hidalgo or somebody?
Hey, Michael.
Yeah, it's Pablo Hidalgo. I think he sort of heads up the storybook group, which is supposed to sort of like keep track of lore and make sure it all fits in. But yeah, but I think people sort of a lot of this stuff though was made up by fans. It's sort of like I'm not sure how licensed a lot of this stuff is, but it's all got in there. It's
what a great job to have though. Can you imagine if someone said, Andy, I want you to do me a favour. What? Draw Bespin. Oh, all right then. Do you know what I mean?
All right.
What a great job to do.
Yeah, but everything's like got a name now, hasn't it? Absolutely everything. Even bits and bits have all got a name for now in Star Wars. It's like it's so vast.
For me though, it was just about making dioramas because I just wanted to know how it all fitted together. So and it just kind of sort of went from there, really. So
well, there you have it. So considering you thought it was boring, everybody loved it.
Good.
Here's number 4. Number 4, and Andy, I've got you big, so you can carry on with your number 4, please, sir.
Right. you've seen this one before when I did Tub Thumpers, but unfortunately I'm going to show it again because once again this is something that I kept hold of, and this is the original Star Wars trilogy soundtrack by sort of like John Williams. Now, obviously not the vinyl sort of like album, but this came out in the 90s with all sort of like on CDs with all the different sort of like music from the films. And to me, it's like I was saying earlier about the Ralph McQuarrie, the John Williams music makes the films just 100%. As much 100%. As sort of like the storyline. It is a cast member. Sort of like, to me, the music is sort of like, it just creates the atmosphere. Even, I will go as far to say, and you can shoot me down for this, even those sequel films that
I've never seen them, so I can't really.
The unflushable turds of the sort of like the Star Wars saga. The music in them is still pretty good because John Williams did it. And it's sort of like that. I can't really fault the music in those films.
No.
This is the first time there was like unreleased music, sort of like that had never been released on another album. Came with this lovely book, which sort of like just explained all the different sort of like scenes and the tracks and the music and everything. And once again, this is one of the few things I've managed to keep hold of. So,
really nice.
I love
Absolutely
this.
Brilliant. BOE's got it. You are right though about the secret. Even Ray's song, diddle, and you still sing it. But let me ask you both a question: what is the John Williams Star Wars score that hits you hard? Mine always tears in my eyes every time I hear it. Leia's theme, and especially the louder it is. Do you know what I mean? Especially it builds up at the end, and love Leia's theme. But what would you say was yours?
For me, it's end credits after Return of the Jedi and Star Wars, and after they go through sort of like the main and then it's like this like a rising crescendo of strings, sort of like music, and it sort of, to me, it just sort of like brings back sort of like it gives me goosebumps almost. When I watched Rogue One, and there's a scene where the Rebel fleet's jumping into Scarif, and it's very, very similar music sort of like being used. That scene gives me goosebumps every time. I just like the music just transports me back to when I was a child again.
I agree with that. Yeah.
I've got two really in this sense. One, a speeder bike is my favourite ever seen in Star Wars. There's no music in it. It's purely noise of them bikes. And the second one, it's got to be, it's the Imperial March. It's Star Wars as soon as you hear it. I just love it, you know. So it's got to be that.
It's funny, isn't it? Because that didn't come in till Empire Strikes Back. Everyone thinks that's a Star Wars, but it isn't. It's an Empire score. That
fantastic. I love the Imperial March.
Mm-hmm. And in terms of music as well, I want to give Lapti Nek a bit of a shout out, because that was in Return of the Jedi. That was the song that Si Snootles sang in Return of the Jedi, and they cut it out and they put in that sort of whatever. But the lyrics to that were actually written by Joseph Williams, John Williams' son.
Wow!
So there you go.
That does
sound one for the original scene. And one for the original music band scene in Return of the Jedi. That did not need to be replaced. That at all.
Neither did jumping up at the end. That didn't. Need to be case. That was brilliant. You know what I mean? No. But I mean, it's like that John Williams documentary on Disney. Wow, that documentary where he started off as jazz and did loads of jazz albums, and I was like, "What the France? I never knew that."
I never knew he did the theme to Lost in Space, and as soon as I heard that, and I listened to the Lost in Space, I was like, "Oh yeah, I can hear it now." It's because he does have a very unique signature in his music.
100% agree. That's very nice. Says our Jason. The story group were the ones who wanted more dinosaurs and no war in current Star Wars a long time ago. I have that, says Martin. Awesome, Andy. It's considered one of the best music transfers onto CD for the Star Wars soundtracks. Wow. Very cool. I believe I tried to buy that set in one of Andy's auctions. Wow. I think it means Andy Chronicles, Andy. So, well, yeah, I think he did have that. Yeah, you're right. All right, Andy, calm down. We don't need to mention the S word. They're useless. Although, saying that though, Michael Giacchino's for Rogue One or Ludwig, whatever his name is for them. There's also some great composers for Star Wars.
It's pity there's none for Andor, isn't there? Unless you're a techno DJ from like Belgium who likes buzzing.
Well, you and your drum and bass, I thought you would have loved that side.
I
you know what I
do,
mean?
but I hate that sort of thing. Like I don't like remember when Live Aid did that new version and then they've got like Dizzy Haskell rapping on it. I hate that sort of thing. It goes really through me.
I tell you what, though, so I listened to the soundtrack to Andor season 1, and it's called the Rebellion Suite, and it's the music that goes along to the One Way Out where they're escaping the prison, and that to me is really, really good Star Wars music. So
Binary Sunset for Connor, brilliant. Yeah, for me, when Luke looks towards, another one for Binary Sunset. Yeah. ADTM for the funeral pyre for Martin. It's what I mean. It's like Jewel of the Fates. I mean, how can you know what I mean?
Let me ask you a question. Would you go as far as to say that the Star Wars world was John Williams' best work?
Oh, I don't know. Harry Potter's good. Harry Potter's really Jaws, E.T.
Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, you see, with John Williams, he really is a genius and sort of like a true artist, because you kind of think to yourself, is the music making you feel these things, or is it because the music's with the visual images that sort of associating it together?
Jaws is a definite.
Jaws, it's sort of like it's so suspenseful. He understands the language of music. It's sort of,
and it's two chords. That's all it is, basically. Do you know what I mean? And he's very, very clever. There was a thing on YouTube I watched once where it showed scenes in his films without his music, and it's just got so completely different. Do you know what I mean? It's like,
but I think I've read somewhere that Star Wars very nearly didn't have John Williams' score because at the time they were getting rid of all the orchestral scores and they were going to go for a more contemporary score. You could have had true disco Star Wars or punk rock Star Wars. I mean, it would have been a completely different film.
It would have. I would agree there, definitely. Cantina theme is G-Force's favourite. Matthew's Collections. He's never forget the musical genius of Yup Yup. John Williams' son is the lead singer of Toto. Yeah, he is. You're right. Exactly.
No way.
Yeah. Imperial March is my alarm tone. Wake up. Well ready to destroy the rebellion. That DTF never changed. Indiana Jones, indie for me. So Damon and Martin both seen Indiana Jones. Star Wars close second, then Jaws. It's weird. But even E.T., tell me you don't have tears in your eyes when you hear that music at the end when that thing's going up. Or even Close Encounters. It's just,
Jurassic Park.
Jurassic Park. You could go on and on, couldn't you? Honestly.
Yeah.
What a career that is. I mean,
it's Close Encounters, isn't it? Close Encounters was another mad one.
Looks like you're ready to Jumpy from Pee-wee's side, Jumpy.
I'll go put it on.
We should do a John Williams stream at some point.
I'd be well on for John Williams stream. You know what? Over the simple reason you'll get different people on with different things towards it, but we'd have to research his. And I bet there's loads of stuff we've missed there, saying like Jaws to E.T. I mean, Schindler's List. He did Schindler's. It's just amazing. There you go. Between 75 and 89, Williams was at his peak. I agree with that, Palps. I do agree with that.
And
Indiana Jones, Jurassic
he
Park,
did appear in Star Wars, John Williams. Unfortunately, it was The Last Jedi. He was the barman in the bar. I know. Yeah, he was in there.
What is your favourite soundtrack, Andy? From what is your favourite soundtrack? You just love that sound. For me, it's Laylo Schafrin's Enter the Dragon. I just love that soundtrack. I listen to it once a month. I love it.
I don't know. I think it probably would be one of the Star Wars, but I do have quite a lot of soundtracks. Sort of going through one of the more recent ones I tracked down. I've got is the soundtrack to Dredd. That sort of the Judge Dredd sort of like film Carl Urban. That's a brilliant soundtrack. It's like I really, really love that soundtrack. So I go through phases, but I'll always go back to sort of like I love the orchestral, I love the scores. I've got most of the Star Trek sort of like scores. I loved the James Horner Aliens, all those sort of. I love the old composers, sort of like the score composers.
George says, imagine Queen doing Star Wars. Yeah, but they did awesome on Flash. And
I
They
think
did
Queen would do a
Flash.
good job on Star Wars, wouldn't they, actually, to be fair?
it would change the tone of it. I'd definitely
Yeah,
say
just
that.
a bit.
But I love Queen. Absolutely brilliant.
Yes.
Missouri Breaks Western is a Williams. Wow, is it Gilster? One of my favourite soundtracks is The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. That Ennio, I forgot his name, Mirio
Morricone.
That just brilliant. Absolutely. And the way he does it with those long sort of visual scenes that he does, and it's just the tone of that music. You know what I mean? Oh, brilliant. When they're in the cemetery at the end and they all go to each part of the circle and that music playing, I'm like, oh man.
Yeah, he was another genius, actually. I mean, it was a
he
film he
was.
did his soundtrack to, Two Mules for Sister Sarah. And
My mum
the
loves
music
that film.
that it's brilliant. It's genius, absolutely genius.
Fun fact: Keith Rich and Cliff Richard.
Here we go.
Yeah, what I mean, she listens, says Martin, and Damon's 100% right. There's absolutely too many of them. Si, while I've got your son, let's have a look at your number 4. So our size number 4 is right here.
Oh yes. Now this figure is the Star Ace Catwoman from Batman Ninja. And it was one of them figures that I saw came out in Japan, and I thought, I have got to get this figure. Because I don't know about you two, but sometimes I can fall in love with a figure. I can see a figure and just fall in love with it, and it won't leave my head until I've got my hands on it. And this was one of them. And it took me 2 years to get my hands on, but I eventually did. And when it came, it's just, I just love it. Silicone body, movable eyes. It's just a beautiful Catwoman. And Batman Ninja, again, I absolutely love that movie. But if there was a standout for it, it was the Catwoman. So I said to myself, I've got to get hold of this figure. So that's why this is my number 4. I just love it.
So who makes this, Si? Who made it?
This is Star Ace. Star Ace make this figure.
So it comes with two things. You've got stuff underneath.
Yeah, you get, and the little box was like a deluxe box. If you got the deluxe, you got like a cat with a wire tail and a few extra things and mask and stuff, removable faces.
Oh yeah, look at that. That's awesome, that, Simon.
Yeah, it's a fully posable figure, but again, like they do with silicone figures, I like to leave them as straight as possible. I mean, this one's not out of its box, so I took it out of its box to have a look at because it did come from abroad. But again, it's all back in because silicone figures are quite fragile, aren't they? They're quite touchy.
Is this Catwoman based on something, or is it an all-new Catwoman for Batman Ninja?
No, it was just all new for Batman Ninja. We'd not seen before, but again, because of that sort of film and the Japanese, all the characters, this is the one that really stuck out for me. Like, I love that giant cat bell around her neck. I just thought that was mint. But yeah, it's just one of them figures I just had to get my hands on, you know.
Yeah,
Catwoman is sort of. Oh, sorry, Shabby. Go on.
No, go on. No, go on.
It's one of those characters, though, sort of like where there's a definite style to it, but there's so many different variations and sort of like how it's presented. It can be lots of different sort of like, and it's all Catwoman. It's still all Catwoman, most of it.
Yeah, that's cool. That is cool. That's nice. That side.
Yeah,
really
love it. They did a line of them. You can get the Batman, the Joker, Harley Quinn. But this is the one I really wanted. Like I said, I fall in love with figures, and if I see something and I think I've got to get it, and like I said, it did take me 2 years to get my hands on it. It took me a long time, but then I saw it. It came to these shows. That was it. I just snapped it up.
It looks pricey. Was it pricey?
It was pricey, yeah. No, it was a tenner at Smith's.
This is the way it was pricey, yeah.
It was pricey. But again, listen, we're only here for a short space of time, and if you can manage it, get it. Don't hang about, piss about, just get it. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. You'll only regret it if you don't. Me and DTM were talking this morning that XO1 came out last year for the HasLab, and I loved it, and I thought it was absolutely brilliant. And you can make it from XO1 to XO2, 4 extra figures, all that up. And I pissed about again and didn't back it. And now, months later, I'm like, why did I not back that? Do you know what I mean? And it was only something like £250, wasn't it? It wasn't expensive, really, for like a HasLab. But never backed it. Wish I did. So sometimes it's not worth missing out on stuff. If you see it then, you know it's hard to get hold of. My advice is just bloody grab it if you can.
Well, it depends how much it is.
Unless you stew with an A-wing. If you stew with an A-wing, you might have to wait a little bit longer.
Just wait a bit. Williams has done so much iconic tunes, but Star Wars has just so many of. That's the thing. There's so many tunes in there, isn't there? I agree with that. Martin said that his soundtrack was Schindler's List, and Connor writes that adds up. He goes like, of course you like Schindler's List. I was waiting. Home Alone, you're right. He did do Home Alone. He did. Yeah, exactly right, David. You're exactly right. Rise of Skywalker. I don't think he's happy with that. So many John Williams classic themes. Yeah, Shafrin, fantastic. Bullet. Yeah, I agree with that too.
Bullet, yeah.
I think nearly any Williams soundtrack will bring us back soundtracks to our youth. Yeah, and Keith says he's genius. Just got to put a chart with a cello. Yeah, I mean, I agree. Did he do the Untouchables? I never knew that.
I don't know. I will say one thing though. Like, we do have some famous composers today, but do you think we'll ever get another Williams? Do you think we'll ever get anybody like that? No matter what he touches, the theme tune stays in your head for the rest of your life, whether it be Superman, whether it be Harry Potter, whether it be Star Wars. It's just amazing how it just sticks with you.
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I don't think they will. I think he's another Beatles, isn't he? I think he's just one off. Like, you got it, you love it forever. You won't get another.
I'd like to think in hundreds of years' time they look back on composers like Mozart and Beethoven and they say Williams in the same breath. So
I think it's well deserved. I honestly
think the world loves John Williams. The world is moved by that music. They've got
but it depends though. There was a part in this documentary where he went for this symphonic orchestra and they didn't like him. They treated him a bit, and he was going to leave, and they asked him to stay on and so forth. It was in this documentary, and it was weird that because they looked at him as just a movie composer, and I'm like, well, do you know what I mean? It's most world recognized music. I don't get it at all. So, but yeah, funny isn't it how they all do it. Favorite Ennio? I can't say his name. Ennio Morricone soundtrack is The Mission.
Yeah, that is excellent.
Yeah, it was cool.
That's the De Niro movie, isn't it? The Mission. Yeah. She's a beaut. So Damon wants to know, Si, is that 6 scale?
Yeah, I think so.
I can see why Si likes that. Gorgeous. Oversized bell round her neck is classy, says G4.
I thought so.
Nice figure. Batman Ninja is great. Beautiful figure. Soul Sight was $9.99.
Yes.
I think I can hear Claire googling the price of that Catwoman. If that figure was a tenner, you would have bought more than one. That makes perfect sense, George. There, I agree with that. Maybe he only showed us one. Maybe he's got about 12 of them. Williams might be great, but he never did the Raccoons or Denver the Last Dinosaur, and I've never forgot those theme tunes.
Oh, the Raccoons. I used to love that cartoon. It was so nice, wasn't it? He had a voice like Andy at the beginning introducing it, didn't he? Remember? Great.
That's right, it says DTM. VTR says, don't think there will ever be another Williams. Honestly, just believe AI from now on for all the soundtracks.
Maybe.
Yeah, I agree with that. I do. Anyway, we're down to the bottom. Let's get to number 3. What is your number 3, Andrew?
All right. Finally, a toy. Now,
yes.
This is Vintage Collection Gamorrean Guard.
Yeah.
Now, I'd started recollecting sort of vintage Star Wars figures sort of before this. But when I saw this figure is what got me back, got me into modern sort of Star Wars figure collecting, because it is, in my opinion, the best vintage collection figure. And it is just superb. For the scale of it, it's the sculpting, the paintwork, the design of it. It looks like a miniature Gamorrean Guard from the film to me, especially more so that my eyesight's a bit blurry now. It is excellent. Now, I'm not going to sort of slag off the Black Series, but it is the Black Series sort of like version, one of the few Black Series figures I've got. And this is an excellent figure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But in my opinion, this one is still better.
When they
And
get it right, don't they, Andy? They really do.
they really do. And I mean, that figure just sort of like just made me think. I've got to get there, and the disposable Israel. I've got about 13 of these. I just couldn't stop buying them, and I've got about another 5 still carded, so I can open them at some point in the future. Because it was just like, I love this figure.
So that's brilliant. I've got 13 of him.
So it's a cool figure.
He's awesome. He really is. Yeah, vintage collection. I was a big fan of vintage collection, but like I say, when Black Series came along for me, I just went on to that. But it's when you see stuff like that and the way they're looking right now. I mean, I think the upgrade for vintage collection over the past year has been out of this world. It really has. It's been brilliant.
But this goes back, I mean, because vintage collection is going through a bit of a sort of like a dodgy phase at the moment, especially with things like the paint apps. So like they did that Streets of Tatooine set recently, and it belongs in the retro collection. I had to do a paint wash over it just to bring out some of the sculpting. But on this figure in particular, you can see the way that they've done the paint. You won't be able to see it. Sort of, I'll hold it up close to the go and say, it almost looks like there's sort of like there's like moisture on the nose. The way they've done the paint apps and the way they've painted the teeth and everything. It's absolutely brilliant, this figure. That's why I have over 13 of them. So.
The build's spot on though, isn't it? When I look at that one, that's the best. That looks like a Gamorrean guard. The build is incredible on it.
And the scale of it as well. And this is why I prefer it to the Black Series. The Black Series one's quite tall. This one's quite short and dumpy. And they were quite short, very stocky. So
what did you think about when you saw them in The Mandalorian and they're all fit and do you know what I mean? Yeah, you did
not keen.
No,
I mean, it's fine. Maybe they've been on a diet. Who can say?
That's the thin one.
They've been exercising, but no, it's not quite the same. So.
Jonathan says, sadly, we don't have iconic movies these days. So how could we have memorable music to go with them? I'm trying to think of something. I mean, the last soundtrack I remember was -1 Godzilla, but they used the old school music. But they revamped it, if you will, and I thought that was awesome. But I can't think of a newish movie. Can you guys?
I can. I love the Batman, the Christopher Nolan Batman soundtracks. They were amazing. It was like a built-up crescendo. They were beautiful. I also did like Interstellar as well. That soundtrack was mind-blowing. So I think there is still a few.
Hans Zimmer. Yeah, because I think he's I mean, Interstellar, and he's done some ones that his work is pretty good, actually. It's not too bad.
Yeah. Still one of the greatest TVC figures coming from him. You'll take that for a word, won't you? Our Luke's here. Our Luke also did Mask as well. Wow. TVC Gamo Guard is a top figure, says G-Force. Yeah, that is right up there. The sculpt is immense on that TVC. Yeah, it really is. One of the best I think there's a lot of lads in the chat that agree with it. Can I just say with the chat as well, it hasn't left 50 all night. So thank you all so much. That's been brilliant. Over 50 all night. Absolute legends. Thank you all. He did X-Men as well. He did loads. Wow, all this music done by the same kind of people. Great figure, says our Rob. Yep. Poo. More packs as our Des. Wow, yeah.
Andy's not. He's waiting for the 30 pack to go with these 15 that he's got. So
Andy just went.
And I'd still buy 10 of them.
4.
So Andy, what is it about the Gamorrean guard then that you love so much?
It's just that sort of like the sculpt. It's just this sculpt on this figure. It's not that I particularly like the character of the Gamorrean guard. I just think it looks brilliant. But actually, with a lot of my setups, it goes with a lot of sort of like stuff in the dioramas. So I mean, I've got about 4 or 5 in Jabba's Palace. I've got a few on sort of like, they just sort of go in all different places. So
there's one in the toilet holding the bog roll. There's one holding the sniping fork.
Don't be giving me ideas.
Look at Jason. How many have you got? Come on, God. Maybe a big camo. It really is. I mean, I keep meaning to get one loose. I said it's carded one won't open. That did they go up in price then? With it being a few years now, has it gone up? The Gamorrean guard.
Yeah, they re-released it a few years ago,
Yeah.
and I snatched up quite a few then. But they really do need to re-release it because it's quite pricey. Sort of, it's getting quite pricey.
I agree
But
with Connor though. The Black Series was one of the best ones as well, and that I had to wait for the re-release of that because getting it at the start, man, it was wow, it was a tough and
he's a good figure. And I
Yeah.
have to say, actually, on the Black Series one, the jaw opens on that one, so he looks quite surprised.
Yeah, I had the Black Series one, the one that was on the card.
Yeah, you got it with the Return of the Jedi. I got it in the red and black box. You got it on the card, didn't you? That's right. Buddy.
Yeah.
Daft
Yeah.
Punk Legacies are still allowed to see. That's what you're getting. It's brilliant. Biker saying hello to Biker Scout. Howdy, dudes. Hello, Dan.
Howdy, dudes.
Good to see you. DTM 13 cards. Everyone's at home going, what's he 13 for? Baker's dozen. Hans Zimmer, sorry, it says here, Biker, all right, mate. Palp says Hans Zimmer's best is Kung Fu Panda. Didn't know Hans Zimmer did Kung Fu Panda. Hans Zimmer, also James Horner, is a great composer for movies and not mentioned much. That's true. That is true. Yeah. Andy went to see him. Andy O'Connell went to see, I think, Hans Zimmer in concert, and he loved it. And it was funny because he was sending us all clips of the music he was playing, and you're like, oh, I didn't know he did that. Or he's one of them, isn't he? John Williams, you kind of know, but Hans Zimmer, unless you're a diehard movie fan. No One's Batman is a good point, Si, but those are 20 years old now. Nothing modern I can think of.
Yeah. You forget, don't you, how fast they've gone.
Ooh, what do you think of those Dune movies, Si and Andy?
Not seen them.
I love them.
Do you know what? I really like David Lynch's sort of Dune. I know it's not sort of like it's a brilliant film, but I like the art direction and everything.
I like it
It's
too,
a good film.
Mm-hmm.
But I really did enjoy the new versions of Dune. I think, okay, sort of the original, the Dune that sort of like David Lynch did plays Paul as a hero, whereas this sort of like film sort of like plays him. He's a bit of a monster. He becomes a monster. Yeah, it's sort of like he shouldn't be followed. He's about to slaughter billions of people. It's sort of like and it really picks up on that in the books. So from the books,
and I think the second one, if not, was just a bit better than I've loved this series. This Dune series has been absolutely brilliant. It's beautiful to look at. I mean, it's absolutely gorgeous to look at. And I don't mind that lad, that Timothy, what's he called? Timothy Chalamet. I think he's a good actor. Do you know what I mean? He's great in him. So, it's really, really good. Dune is a great score.
Yeah. They
probably release The Guard in a couple of years again. Andy, could you do a Communion God toilet to rival the decent toilet? He's got a point, Andy. He's got a point. Chief says, I have a lot of Batman, Cobra Vipers and soldiers, but most of the variants do not do much army building. I think it's just a problem in finding to do army building for me. Did you see the 400 guards at Echo Live?
I didn't.
No.
Those Paul Dew movies, I just didn't grab me sadly. Did they not? Paul Dew movies. Right, Si, let's get to your number 3, buddy. Share screen. Here we go. So these are your number 3. So you're going down a DC route, Si, with your number 3.
Well, again, I found this extremely hard, to be fair with you, because I've collected all my entire life, but I do collect certain things. So I thought for my number 3, I'm just going to show you a few things that I love of the DC world of Batman. That
yes, sir.
I just collect a lot of stuff Batman. I always have since being a kid, and I do to today. So really, my number 3 was just a collected bunch of just Batman things that I really love in my collection. So this was the large penguin that they did. This was re-released about 3 years ago, I think I bought this. Yeah, it's quite a large penguin. Again, I really liked it because the face sculpt was brilliant on it. I think it's Necker, I can remember right. That there, the Batmobile 66 is my favorite ever Batmobile. I love that car. And I've got a few versions of the 66. I've got a restored one. I've got an original battered one. But at Christmas, Dave at DTM got me this. I didn't even know they'd done a new one. So that was just absolutely brilliant. So I absolutely love that, to receive a new 66. Do you know what I mean? Because
it's like a reissue of it, was it?
Yeah. So it's like they've done it again and brought it out. So that was a great present. So I love that. Again, this was all when all the 90s stuff came out about Batman again, when it had that big explosion after 89. And Scuba Pete sent me a parcel and it just had all this Batman stuff in it. So I was really thankful for that. But it's a collection that I like to keep going. And when I go to the NEC and stuff, I like to look at old Kenner Batman figures.
Oh, you'll find loads of Joe
the loose
Fest.
ones. And,
there's loads of carded stuff and like that at Joe Fest. So
so
that
again, it's just a
canopy,
few things I love.
so that canopy fits on top of the Batmobile, right? Is that right?
Yeah, and it's
That's
really
awesome.
fragile. It's like that plasticky sort of like eggshelly. It just plonks on top. Yeah,
It's funny, outside looking at this, especially your number 2 picks, you can see why what you said in your honourable mention was valid, because Scuba Pete DTM. Do you know what I mean? I can see it now.
yeah. Well, again, yeah, and again,
Brilliant.
to
I've
be
got
able
all
to
these.
pick up Batman 66 at the age of 50, that it makes me cry, because I absolutely love Batman 66. It's my favorite ever Batman. I know Smithlow thinks I'm a knobhead for it, but I love Batman 66. And again, you get to my age now, you get all these 6-inch figures: Batman 66, Batmobile, Batcycle, Batcave, Wayne Manor. It's phenomenal to me that I can still pick stuff up. Really
Even I
is.
got all this. I got it all. I have to phone you though, Si, and ask you some of the villains I've picked up. I haven't a clue who they are. This is this. But it's a great set. And the funniest thing is, especially with the Batcave, when you put it on your shelf and you've got a light in it, it looks exactly like the old 60s set, because it's all plastic and cardboard like it used to.
Yeah.
Be. So,
but the greats, I mean, the Villain's Lair, brilliant. Again, what I loved about McFarlane,
I never found it. It's sold out over here.
It was again, it's all the comics that I read in the 80s and 90s. And then when McFarlane did the multiverse and he started to give you characters that I never thought I would get a 7-inch figure of. Never.
Yeah.
And when Todd McFarlane's Batman came out at the cover, I just thought, I've got to pick that up.
So
again, the multiverse has been
Simon?
brilliant.
What's
it was Todd McFarlane's. That's Todd McFarlane's Batman cover. I can't remember what the Batman cover is. He slipped me for the moment. But again, in this, you get like the whole cemetery scene and everything, and it stands up. You can take that cape off, and you actually get a cloth cape with it, so you can have it different style. But if you know Todd McFarlane's work, that there just says that comic book cover. Do you know what I mean? So again, the multiverse, you'll be sad when it ends. I'm looking forward to seeing what Mattel do. But while he's at it, and while this multiverse has been going and still going, we've had some amazing stuff.
It's one of those things, this Andy, inside, that even if you're not a collector, you'd have it on a shelf. It just looks cool. Do you know what I mean? It's like,
I mean, I don't collect it, but it looks awesome. I'm particularly blown away by that penguin one at the beginning. I mean, people gave sort of like Danny DeVito's penguin a lot of sort of like stick. But I Batman Returns is my favorite
penguin.
Batman film.
That penguin to me won't be beaten. Brilliant penguin he played.
Yeah.
This again, I love the face sculpt on this. It looks so much like Michelle Pfeiffer that I had to pick this figure up. Again, it's 12-inch. It's a tall figure, but I absolutely love it. Fully posable. It'll never be out of this box.
I like the way your hair all sits. That is brilliant. That is really
it's a beautiful figure. It looks just like her.
Yeah, that is gorgeous. That's a nice number 2, that pal. DC. Let's have a look. Sorry, Got by the Batman was one of the best figures ever. Here we go. That 66 Batmobile is much like the Enterprise feel. It's the greatest they are. So perhaps there's a game with your side there. Here we go. Those Batman Returns figures are absolutely. Yeah, where I've never even. So NECA made them side. It was NECA.
Yeah, NECA did. Yeah. They also done a large 66 Batman and Robin, but quite hard to pick up. And I know I can get them cheaper for like $150.
For me, the Batman TV series with Adam West, that was my introduction to Batman.
Yeah,
so it will always have a special place, sort of like because that's when I first was introduced to Batman.
Do you know, I've watched it since I was a kid, and I'm now 50, Andy, and nothing, my heart still pounds like hell, excites me more when Robin gives it turbines to speed and that Batmobile flies out of that cave. It excites the hell out of me still to this day. It gets my blood going. Do you know what I mean?
You know what, Si? Maybe when we go to LA in 2027, I'll take you there, Si. I bet you.
That's what we're heading for, the Batman Museum, 100%. Yeah.
No, I mean, we'll go to the actual cave. We'll go to
the backs of that's what
most of Star Trek filmed back there as well. So I watch these guys that do all the Star Treks filmed back there. There's a famous scene where I've never watched I've watched 2 episodes of the 6.
It's the Gorn with the rock.
Yeah, the Wonder Woman TV show was filmed a lot there as well. So it'd be interesting to go and see all that.
Very well. Yeah, we'll definitely do. Well, it's no point in you coming all the way over here and going there and not doing that, is there? So we'll definitely do that. The 66 Batman bill is much like, yeah, we've read that one. Geez, Batman 66 is 60 years old already.
Yeah,
Amazing,
still
isn't
quality.
it? Sorry, back to Andy. David, I got that. Tomorrow Figures is one of the best. Yeah, it is. Yeah, McFarlane really did a good job with those DC figures.
Yeah.
Oh, did they ever do a Condiment Man for Batman? They did, didn't they?
They did, but they did it in the animated series. I don't think they've done one yet for the multiverse.
Yeah, he has been pumping them out. He has, though, hasn't he? They're all coming.
Yeah.
Those Batman.
Yeah, they are.
Amazing. McFarlane has put some great figures and then finishing off with some belters this year. Do you agree with that, Si?
Yes, I do. But it seems to me like obviously the license going, and they've obviously got a few molds to go, and it seems to be like coming 4 or 5 figures a month at the moment. They just seem to be hammering them out.
We all know who the real Batman is. It's the legend of the Batman.
Yeah, Adam got me a great peasant there.
Batman and Wonder Woman on TV with the 70s were my superheroes. Yeah, they were, weren't they? Yeah, I agree with that.
And that's it. I mean, like, if I run Warner Brothers today and I look at programs like, The Mandalorian and Book of Boba Fett, bringing now the young Luke Skywalker back, I would love to just make a Justice League movie with Christopher Reeve, Adam West. I'll just, you know what I mean? Linda Carter. That would be my Justice League.
I know they
movie.
came back recently, didn't they? And did an animated movie, and it was all the voices. It was Adam West, it was Burt Ward, and you could hear him getting on a bit. But I did watch that. I thought that was pretty cool.
That was called Return of the Cape Crusaders. That's what that was called.
There's that other one they did in 2004. And it's on YouTube. You can watch it. It's like a movie. It's like a
it's like when they're going for a dinner. It's like behind the scenes and stuff.
Like a camp thing. Yeah,
it's good on
it. So yeah.
And Linda Carter, she appeared in one of the more modern Wonder Woman films, didn't she?
She was
a cameo.
Yeah, the end. Yeah.
Fantastic. Right.
And I thought to myself, you could still be Wonder Woman. You could still do it. You could still.
Andy, did I show you number 3, Andy?
Yeah, it was Gammy Guard.
All right. Well, on to number 2. Number 2 in the collection. Andy, what's your number 2?
Okay, so earlier you said about who would I really like to meet.
Segue, yeah, very professional.
I don't know, there's a bit of glare on here. So there's 2 here, and I've kind of got to show you both.
Right.
So I kind of met when I went to Celebration in 2016. There was an opportunity to sort of have a photo with Carrie Fisher and Mark Hamill, and they were sort of like childhood heroes, really. And I just, I've got to do it. I've got to pay whatever I need to pay to be able to just spend 2 seconds with these people and have a photo taken. And I'm really, really glad that I did it. I just sort of like got to meet them. I regret not meeting sort of like Chewbacca, Peter Mayhew that day.
Yeah.
But it kind of sparked off a little bit of where I'd go off and get autographs and sort of things like that. I've calmed down a little bit recently, but these were the first ones that I ever did. I never used to be into it or anything sort of like before, but it was this. And Mark Hamill in particular, but Carrie Fisher. I always loved Carrie Fisher. I loved her.
I remember that time she kissed that bloke at Star Wars Celebration and he fell down. That was the Maidie's year. Do you know what I mean? I'd love to have met her. I remember her book, The Princess Diaries, came out the week she died. And it was, and so I read it that week, and it was more sentimental with reading that. Do you know what I mean? But I do agree, regardless of what people say about Hamill now. I met him. He came into my work when I was in the suit business, and I met him, and he was a really nice bloke. But the job I had or whatever, I couldn't really, hey mate, you all right? No, I had to be very posh and very, hello, how are you, and all that sort of stuff. But he was I remember phoning Si from work. Do you remember? Phoned on Si, said, "You'll never believe who's in here." Then going back, so Egyptian cotton. Completely different thing. That's very cool, but more crazy is Andy without the effing beard.
Yeah, do you know what? I was just going to say, use that guy in them pictures, Andy, but then really
very handsome. Let's make it even bigger. Let's have a look. They are.
Oh, look at that.
Without a beard. And God, how old was I? That's 10 years ago. More than 10 years ago now.
Wow.
About 10
was he like? Was he a nice guy when you met him?
Yeah, he was actually. He was sort of like friendly, only got to see him for a few seconds. I wish I'd gone back and got the autograph because you could chat a little bit more with the autograph. But no, they was nice, and she was nice as well. So as nice as you can be. I mean, they're literally sort of like just churning hundreds of people through, sort of like, so they must get a little bit, but they didn't show it.
I think the way they work it out, though, is it's not an experience for them; it's an experience for you, innit? And it's how they come across those, you know. Because I've heard good things and bad things. Carrie Fisher, I've never heard anything bad about ever. Every person, especially in the pop culture hemisphere that us lot are in. You know, you're one of how many that have met her, and nobody has ever said, "Oh, she was a bit of a pain in the arse." Everyone's like, "She's lovely." I would have loved to have met her. I bet she was awesome. I bet she could tell you some stories. I bet she
could.
Yeah.
Chris just said then that the Condiment King was a builder figure for the animated series. I remember it did come out for one. It was the animated series,
Kieran Bull says, I remember Carrie Mark, but who's that bloke with him? That you'll find is
who's that handsome young man with them?
The last 10 years have not been kind.
I think you look better now, son. I think you look better now. I'd love to have a Carrie Fisher autograph picture. Very cool. I got David Prowse. Me and Si met David Prowse, and he was a lovely bloke. He was so friendly, so nice. And one of the nicest people I think I ever met in the Star Wars world was her who played the young Aunt Beru in Revenge of the Sith. And in the she was how nice was that lady, Si? She was on her own having lunch, and where it was at Burnley Football Club. And when it was lunchtime, she was sat on her own. Me and Si sat with her, and I tell you what a
well, what it was is that when Mark's youngest was a baby, when she was 3 or 4, she was like a porcelain doll. She was beautiful.
Yeah, she was,
and once she got her eyes on the Suki, that was it. She had to have Suki over her.
Yeah.
So she was really friendly. Once she was really nice woman. Yeah,
she was a really nice lady. I will not deny the rush of meeting celebs, but I'm a cheap SOB, and I understand it in a way. It's like Andy, you just put it one way, where he said, I mean, how many people there's lines of console. I can understand sometimes why you would charge something, because you're not just thinking of yourself. You think of yourself in your terms. Oh, how much is this? But we're not thinking of them and all those people they have to say hello to. What's the most you've spent on an autograph, Andy?
I don't know. Maybe the Mark Hamill one, actually. That was sort of like, that was quite expensive. Carrie Fisher was a bit cheaper. But I remember when I went to Celebration in 2023, I just did 2 photo ops. I didn't do any autographs or anything because the prices were outrageous. And I just kind of thought, no, I refuse to pay, because they're literally just gouging. But there's some that I've been to sort of like where they've been sort of like really cheap. They've been like about 20 quid, sort of like stuff like that, and actually get to have a nice chat. One of the best experiences I had was Marina Sirtis, who played Councillor Troy on Star Trek.
She was gorgeous.
She was a laugh. It's sort of like, I remember sort of saying to her, sort of like, thanks for coming on, do this. She went, no, thanks for coming over. She said, otherwise I'd just be sitting there on my arse all day doing nothing.
Weird, they just normal people, you don't think.
I know, exactly. Just like, you're just a normal person. And it's sort of like, but well, we think, of course they are, but it's sort of, you're so used to seeing them in different ways, but that's what sparked it off. And I sort of go, and I don't do it as much as I used to, sort of like, but every so often I'll get an autograph or a picture or something like that.
Yes, Thousand Skulls. There's a few lads in there now that love the autographs.
Yeah, because Georgie's book, and she's full of autographs. You see Georgie's book, and
Georgie's book. You hit the nail on the head. Look at that one. Georgie had a book out on Tub Thumpers. All the people.
And I know DTM and Helen, they've got quite a few as well. They've got a few autographs in.
I've met loads of people, especially when I lived in London. I met loads of people, but I've only got 2 autographs. One was David Prowse, and one was Samantha Newick, who played Jem. Shut up, Si. Hamill came to Southend and was on the pier filming. It was during the week I was at work. Oh, yeah, you'd be gutted if you just missed out, wouldn't you? I heard Carrie had a place here in Western Massachusetts. Did you, Mr. B? I love it up there where you live. It's beautiful. And that's how it should be, Shabby. Carrie Fisher and Jem giving fans their money. Well, I don't want to say what it's nice. It's because I think it's, regardless of who it is, I think when you've grown up loving the work and following them, and then to actually meet them, and you know what I mean, it's something that lives with you, isn't it, Andy? I suppose. Yeah.
Have you ever met anyone you kind of think, oh, they've not lived up to your expectations?
Yeah, Manga Fandanga. I don't know. Not really. Have you, Si?
I normally seem to meet people when I'm having a wee. No, that sounds really weird, but that's the truth. Like, I remember once going to Blackpool Pleasure Beach, and I'm stood there, and I've looked either side of me, the cubicles, and it was boys' zone. I felt like the sixth member in the middle. So I was going like, "Are you boys on?" And they were like, "Yeah." They were opening this new rad at the Pleasure Beach, but it also happened again at the same place where I met my Daily Prams. I've gone to the toilet and I'm having a wee, and I'm talking to this Scots guy, and this Scots guy's talking away. "Oh, how do you like it here? Oh, it's great." And I said, "Oh, right." I said, and he's telling me about him, and I said to him, "Oh, were you in Star Wars then?" And he said, "Yeah." He said, "I played Big Fortuna." And my head just went, it just blew off. It was Mark Hunter, was he called? I think it was Mark, his name was. I think it was Mark. But yeah, the Scots guy.
I've got his.
Yeah, and that completely blew me away. So I normally seem to meet people in the toilet.
Nothing new then, Si. Nothing new. I've got some breaking news. I got Michael Dawn's autograph, Worf, and he was a complete arsehole.
Oh, that's quite a shame, that.
It is.
No, I wouldn't like it, what you said there, Mark. I wouldn't like to meet somebody that I've always loved and admired and they were horrible.
Yeah,
I wouldn't. It'd crucify it, wouldn't it? It'd be like, and I know, listen, he must be tired of it, these people. Yeah. People around him every day, same questions every day. It must wear them out. But then again, I think if you're an actor, you'll be able to wear that face for your public. Do you know what I mean? So
I do. Simon is your number 2, buddy, and it's all about the Biker Scout.
Oh, the greatest ever thing from Star Wars. It's just never come out of Star Wars. It's the Biker Scout. Again, when I first saw Return of the Jedi, as a massive BMX fan as a kid, I fell in love with this Biker Scout. It was the first looking Star Wars that had like a mint BMX helmet. He had speeder bikes that went 600 miles an hour through trees. And even the little side pistol, the little ankle pistols, they're just the coolest things ever in Star Wars.
Even I bought that helmet side for Christmas.
This was a gift off Connor Fuller, which I was absolutely gobsmacked by. It came through the door and Connor got me the sideshow Biker Scout, and I absolutely love it. Obviously, it'll be like that. I'm not one for opening anything, me, but I just love the Biker Scout.
You don't even open Hot Toys?
I collect things of the Biker Scout.
You don't even open that? That'd be a great centerpiece. That's
an awesome figure.
Yeah. But again, in all shapes, that's the sideshow one that Connor got me, which again I absolutely love. But that was a Lego version that came out. Again, being the lover of Lego, I only ever buy original trilogy. So when that came out, that was right up my street. I was buying that.
Oh, yeah, that was off. Oh no, that's the 40th one, isn't it, Si?
Yeah, again, that was another present off Connor. I came home and. From Celebration, and that was at the door, and Connor had bought me the speeder bike.
Yeah, I got the Black Series one, and it's iconic. That bike, that look, I agree with that. Yeah. Wow, look at that.
Again, Andy at Hollow Chronicles knew I was after a Biker Scout because I said, you know what, if there is going to be a couple of figures, I'm going to get back carded. I want the Biker Scout, I want Weequay, and I want Lando Skiff. They were my 3 favourite evers. So I did actually end up with a Biker Scout. So I got all 3 cards, but again, that's the one I got off Andy, and he sourced me a really nice one.
Yeah, it's really nice, that.
Again, that's Scuba Pete and Jeff Barker. They went to Joe Fest a couple of years back, and they saw that, and they said, "Oh, we've got to pick that up." So again, thank you so much for that. This is the original one. I love it. Yeah,
it's funny, Andy and Si, we all talk about the Falcon and the X-Wing, but that is such an iconic toy. We all had that as kids.
Andy's got it there, look.
It's one of the few vintage sort of like figures and toys that I have out that's not packed away. I do like this.
Beautiful, isn't it?
It is absolutely gorgeous. I just remember the advert going through the table legs when do you remember?
Yeah,
absolutely brilliant. Yeah, loved it, Si.
Again, that's when the Return of the Jedi one come out, and I love that. You know, to have it in 6-inch now, brilliant. Loved it.
I like the way you've done your top 5, Si. I've got to admit, I have, because when you turned around to me and showed me at the start, I was like, hang on a minute, it's meant to be.
Well, that's the thing. I collect like most things of things, so it's very hard to segregate it. Again, when that came out, Anne-Marie got me that for Christmas. It's I just love that helmet.
Yeah,
and I've had a few Biker Scout helmets before, but for me, my personal opinion, none of my helmets of Biker Scouts have ever been as nice as that one. None of them.
Yeah, it's beautiful. What's that, Si?
That was the Hot Toys Biker Scout when they re-released the Return of the Jedi one. So obviously I just jumped on it straight away and picked it up.
Brilliant.
But I've still need to pick up the speeder bike yet. I'd like the Hot Toy Biker Scout and speeder bike together. I'd like to be able to pick that up. And I know that sometimes you're seeing the Echo and stuff. One year I'll probably crack and pick that up. There's one at the moment that I'm after, and I think I can get it for around £100. And it's a Black Series one, Mark. And it's an all-black biker scout on a bike, and I think it has the Dark Trooper as well.
Yeah,
quite a large step.
Shadow Troopers.
Yeah, I'd like to pick that up. I'd like to find that and pick that up.
There's a pure white version for Hoth as well.
Yeah, sure is.
Is there?
Yeah. And there's one that came, the AT-AT, the re-release AT-AT in 2010, I think, that came with the white speeder bike. And this, I've got those figures, so yeah, they look cool too. And you put a picture up, Si, of when you were at a celebration, I think, and there was a white biker scout there, all in the white. And I think that's
that was really cool. Yeah, it was.
Oh, celebration
that was like a one.
Was a big shame for me, so I overbooked, so I cramped not so much around, and many queues and prices for autographs. Well, wow, yeah, they get. I think you really have to want this autograph. I want you to do. How long have you queued for an autograph? How long was it to get Mark Hamill's autograph?
Oh, it was about an hour. So sort of like getting there, but well worth it. There was, because you're talking to loads of people who are queuing, wanting exactly the same thing as you.
So it's all like-minded. Yeah,
you're just having a good chat. It goes quick.
As a family, we saw the Chuckle Brothers. They did the whole meeting. Hilarious. Hey, I tell you, we were talking about Andy before being mega famous now, but also, did you see Mrs. Des T in the Toy Shop on Tour video? Did you see her in there? See, just as famous. Look at that.
Oh, well,
I was watching it last night. I went, there's his wife.
About these Des T's.
Yeah, biker scout, and the biker had to be in there. Yeah, definitely. Hello, been busy tonight, but I've been watching. No, thanks, Mark. It's nice to see you. That speeder bike chase back in the 80s was just mind blowing. It was, wasn't it? It was. And did you like it when they did it in the Mandalorian time when they came down that cliff?
I did. That was really cool to see biker scouts of today out today and how they did it. And that again was my favourite bit of the whole of that. Yeah. But you'll never beat that speeder bike Return of the Jedi scene for me. Yeah. Even though now I know it looks not like it should anymore, but I
adds to the charm. I think that's.
I just loved it.
It's like when you watch Clash of the Titans and so forth, and Jason and the Argonauts. It still adds to the charm, that sort of CGI.
Yeah, and I just think that's one thing that the sequels really severely lack. That there's not a specific scene in any of these movies that you'd want to go back and rewatch. I mean, us three now, we can talk about films that are coming up 50 years old. The Battle of Hoth, when they go to Jabba's palace. What's it like on Bespin? Endor. It never ends. The Death Star. The Death Star 2. There's all these specific bits that make Star Wars, the original trilogy, and the prequels, fantastic. The sequels doesn't seem to have any of them. Doesn't seem to have one scene, not one where I'd go, gotta watch that again. And when you look at myself now, how many times have I seen that 6-minute speeder bike scene? Millions of times. Do you know what I mean? As a kid, I'd watch it, rewind it, watch it again, rewind it, watch it again, you know. And
but you made a good point tonight, Arcade, when you turned around and said there was no music. And I mean, I've seen that film and then I realised, my word, he's right. There is no music in that.
No, it sounded on bikes, isn't it? They sound amazing. And then they got that pew underneath that little firing gun. It's just amazing.
Like that.
Yeah, brilliant.
But it's also like they walked along in that forest, the redwood forest, with the camera, steady cam. And they sped it up, sort of like thing. That is someone walking through a forest with a camera.
Yeah.
It's not sort of CGI or anything. That's someone having to walk through it.
Yeah. And it's weird that because obviously it's I went about 20 years ago to the Redwoods. I went there and oh man, it is Endor. It's weird to say because I know everywhere you go is Endor. You know what I mean? You can go to a park.
I can't go to Beacon without thinking.
Where'd you pick those blackberries, Endor? I got the hot toy version of the bike scout not long ago. Nice one, Mr. B. I saw that love letter of a video, and VTR says I'm really enjoying size top 20. Our Dave, really shadow set. That's exactly what it was.
The shadow set. Is that what it's called?
That was all for show. I phoned him and bollocked him. I was thinking that Dave, I've got a great speeder bike, Gentle Giant statue. He's just relaxing next. Oh, yeah, I know which one you mean. I know exactly which one you mean. Beautiful. I picked up the Shadow Trooper twin pack for about 15 quid 5 years ago.
Not 15 quid now.
Be happy if you found it for 15 quid. Delvian, does the bike still smell like 1983? Nice, Kilster.
I'm going to say what it smells like.
Oh, the TVC version years ago, yeah. My ear's still ringing, G. Let's have a look. Love those biker scouts, says our John. Oh, did Black Series make a shot? Yep, they sure did. Years ago, they made it. And it's hard to get hold of now. Shabby, I know, it was great to see you though, Ardes. I thought, there she is. Awesome. Did you do any of your Oscar-worthy acting?
Cary Grant, you lot, Des, let me tell you.
Oh, absolutely. But yeah, G, it was a 2-pack. It goes for a bit now. Yeah, it's beautiful. I never found it. Suki found my Torn tournament and my Han Solo when that came in the box, and the speeder bike and the bike. Yeah. And she found them. They're there. I remember they were both $25. That's all it was back then.
Well, now, yeah, I've seen that Biker Scout stand. I'd like to pick it up, but again, it's around £90 or £100.
Let's have a look. Yeah, they all did a bike, all black Biker Scout and bike with that's all I read. Black Biker Scout bike with bike and black so trooper. Shadow Trooper. Well, you just think you called him a Shadow Trooper, set George. Sorry, I was chirping with Connor. Zoe T says she had training from being in the background. Yeah, about 120. You're right, Ricardo. Yeah, it was right. I'm such a nerd. I visited the location of the Endo Forest and took a new.
That's not nerdy. That's cool. That's the coolest of all coolness.
The only time that's ever happened to me is I went to Philadelphia, and where the National Museum at the top is where the Rocky Steps are, right? And I'm getting to the city centre. I'm saying it all the way through. Oh, I'm definitely doing it. I'm definitely running up those steps and giving it the Rocky thing. Got there and I went, no. You know, your novelty.
You got through it.
The funniest thing is that I soon realised, though, that everybody's doing it. And all you can hear is people going, da-da-da, running up the steps, you know what I mean? Da-da. So I did it. There's me like that, you know. Chubby Shab's giving it this, you know. Loved it. I was born near one of the redwood parks and grew up in the mountains of Northern California. My parents never took me to see the redwoods because they thought I wouldn't want to see more trees. Not another tree.
Is it true what they say about the trees on the redwoods? That they are big, aren't they? They're like absolutely massive, aren't they?
It is out of this world if you've never been before. And I suppose that's why I love America so much. It's just, I know they say things are bigger, but these things are just, I've never seen trees like it. Do you know what I mean? You're talking. Got to really lean back to see them. Do you know what I mean? But they are impressive, very impressive. Right, well, but this has been an awesome show that leads us to number one. Andy, would you like to show me, Si, and everybody else the number one in your collection?
Well, it's been in view the whole time. All the way through, because it is right behind me over here. It is the barge, sail barge, sail barge, and it isn't because it's sort of like it's an expensive sort of like piece or anything. It's when I was a kid and collecting my Star Wars figures, I really wanted a sail barge, and they never released one. The closest I got was that mini rig figure with a little sort of red sail on top. And I tried making my own with Lego and cardboard and various other bits and pieces, but I just couldn't do it. And then when I actually saw some people who made their own sail barges and they were like customs, and I was half tempted. And when they sort of like said they were releasing this, and regardless of what you think about HasLabs and the model of it and everything, but there was no way in hell I was passing it up. I was gonna make sure I got it. Sort of like.
So how did you make sure you got it then, Andy? What was the process to go through?
I went through. There was a company that actually ended up screwing some people over called Dark Side Toys over here.
I remember that.
Yeah, and he, the guy who run that, sort of, he put out a call for people who were interested, and he was going to put in an order on our behalf, and then ship it all over to us, and he did. But he stopped doing it sort of like quite early on because apparently there was some issue with PayPal or something like that. So there wasn't that many people who got in on it, but
Yeah.
I managed to get in on it. I was just over the moon and so happy and waiting for it sort of like to turn up. And when it arrived and unboxing it, to me, it's something that I always really, really wanted, and finally managed sort of like to get. And I love it. I hate dusting it, but I love it.
Oh, it's
The
an absolute
sales.
work of art. It's a work of art, isn't it? It really
And
is.
actually, of all the other HasLabs that have come after, nothing compares to this one.
No,
It's
that's
sort
if
of
I
like
had to pick one, it'd be that one. It'd be
Yeah.
that one. Yeah.
the detail on it and everything is just it is superb. I mean, the scale's not quite right, but it don't matter.
Andy, do you remember the set that they had up in Star Wars Celebration? And it was done in that glass box with all the sand and the
Oh,
it
that
was just amazing.
I bet
It
it was.
really was.
Yeah.
God,
Brilliant. I'm
actually.
so gutted I didn't get that. You know what, Martin? I've always said it being over here in the States. I found that fascinating that you put up a ship like that, which all of us, I think it's one of the HasLabs, but we all turn around and say, oh, he's had it, Si, in this.
Yeah, this was it. It would look like a celebration, and it was in this glass box, and it just looked amazing with the sound and the way they'd done it. It was a bit glary, but that's when I thought I would have killed for that.
Brilliant.
So it's just an amazing set, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. But it's like I was going to say, Si, I found it fascinating that wasn't a worldwide, because Australians, English, we all love Star Wars. You know what I mean? And how that
well, there was no Hasbro Pulse in the UK at that point, and the only way to do it was sort of like to have an American address over there, and there were ways around it, but it was sort of like it was a pain to get it. And then of course they did. I think it was about 500 that went on eBay, sort of like for people sort of in Europe, and I think they went in about sort of 10-15 minutes.
In a way, though, I suppose that saved my reputation, because I've not really got the best reputation of sending stuff takeaway. So can you imagine you lot saying, "Oh, Shabby, can you get that?" Oh, yeah, and they're still here. You look in my background, I've got like 12 sail barges to ship out. Oh, I'll do it next week. I'd be a night, but it was.
They have shot up, though, haven't they? They have shot up in price. I saw a guy selling a couple of Echo, and I was gobsmacked at the price of them. And I said to Boss, I said, these are going up like £400 a year. And Boss went, yep.
Yeah, I bet he did. The sail barge, what a beauty, great choice. Yeah, Andy, I can't disagree with that number one. It's just, I remember our side phoned me up one night watching The Mandalorian or something. It's when they were having that bonfire on Tatooine, and that was behind it all blown up. Side, and you were choked up, mate. You were like,
yeah, Book of Boba Fett. Yeah,
Book of Boba Fett.
He returned the Jedi Jabba scene so much in Book of Boba Fett that I would say, out of all the Star Wars shows that have been on, that's probably my favourite because of all the callbacks. I just loved it for that.
Curse myself. Yeah, everybody's loving it. Our Des loves it. Excellent choice for your number one, says Kieran. Have to say, I really do miss Darkside toys. They were great to buy international shipping from. Were they?
No, it wasn't Darkside, it was Darkside. They did a play on the name over here. So, but I mean, and he stitched me up. I had orders and stuff, and he didn't deliver. He just sort of like went bankrupt. And I know everyone, he's really not popular, this guy, but he helped me get the barge. So I will cut him some slack.
Judge said, shame they don't release the sail barge again. I think they will. Maybe because I think as well, I know if they would have done it recently, a year or so after, people would be pissed off because they've just spent all that money getting it. But the amount of fracas and the amount of, like I said, lads that are outside of the UK that missed out on that and so forth. I would present it as that. Well, for all those that missed out, we'll do it again. Do you know what I mean? And I'm going to be honest, if they did it again, then I'd definitely get Si to buy it for me.
I have a feeling they might actually. I mean, I think one of the last celebrations I went to, they were still giving away barges. They've still got some in stock.
Yeah,
because I think they did a large production because it sold it was just over 8,000, and they must have done a 10,000 production run. So they've still got a few hundred sort of left behind, but it wouldn't surprise me if they did another production.
Would you reckon it'd do well though if they did it again, Andy? Do you think if they did it again,
Well, I mean,
even
if you
people like
kind of
me and
think,
Si would have to do it then, wouldn't we? You know.
I think even with you look at the Ghost. I mean, sort of like the Ghost is not hugely, but it's sold like I can't remember how many it was, but it's over. I think it was like 20,000 units. I
Yeah.
mean, the Razor Crest was sort of like was nearly 30,000 or over 30,000 units. It's you kind of think, and that struggled to get funded. I think it's because
I
it was a
know.
brand new model, sort of
Brand new
like
thing. But I remember
yeah.
pissing and moaning about it at the time on ZSR, like, oh, who's going to spend 600 quid on that? Now it's the norm, innit? Now we're shocked if something's under 200 quid. Do you know what I
Was
mean?
that the first HasLab then that they did
First
the
one.
cell
Yeah,
barge? That was the
very
first one.
one.
So in a
Very,
way,
very
Si,
first
because
one.
I don't know Matt's collection rights right here, and he said the barge is something else. I have all the Abzacs except that one. Did you miss out then? Was it one of those things that you thought this is just a novelty? This won't work, and that's why you didn't back it? Because I can't remember if I did that myself. I was like, I was just under that thing. I've always had that thing with me that toys should be financially for everybody, blah blah blah. And I just didn't understand buying $13, $14 TVC figures at the time to go with a $500 toy playset didn't make sense to me. But how wrong I was when you see it, you're like, oh man, if I, you know,
Yeah.
I think you look at GeForce, 1,200 quid is the cheapest now. Yeah, he kept its value, that thing. I don't know Matt's collection. You could send, some could send it to me. Someone that set a sale box to my home, I would protect it until it claimed, yeah, you would. Question for Andy. As someone that's managed to get the sale bars, do you think they should re-release it again for the fans to get?
Yes. And it's because my collection, I don't look at it from sort of financial point of view, how much it's worth, but knowing how much joy and pleasure that thing has given me over the years that I've had it, I don't think depriving other people of it sort of like is, and I know some people won't agree with me on this, but I don't care. I kind of feel as that other people should sort of like have a go at getting that, and there are so few of them sort of about. It's difficult sort of like to get hold of them. So actually, asked me a few years ago, I'll probably be no, I'm not so sure. It's sort of, but actually now I just kind of think, yeah, they should just re-release it. Don't do the yak face figure that came with it. Perhaps do sort of like some sort of like differences or something, sort of like to make it a bit different and lower the price down, or keep the price sort of reasonable. But just re-release it.
Would you back it, Si, if they re-released it again? Would you get it?
I don't think they should. Unlike Andy, even though I'd absolutely love that thing, I like things to be exclusive to people. I had my chance to back it and I didn't. I think it's nice that you get something that's exclusive, that is hard to pick up, sort of stands out in your collection. It's a beautiful thing. I desire that. So if we're just going to just re-release it again and that sort of kills what HasLab actually is. You do have your chance to pick these things up. Like I said about the XO1, I missed out. I'll kick myself in the arse for that.
Yeah, I agree.
So yes, I would love the cell barge, and I'd love to be able to pick it up at 600 quid. But I do prefer more that those that did pick it up have an exclusive. That's what I preferred. You know, it's just sod's law. I don't have one. That's all. But I can love Andy's. Do you know what I mean?
So you and Andy just come on both sides of the room basically to meet in the middle, and I can agree with both points there. I can agree with both points. Do you know what I mean?
Otherwise, things aren't special anymore, are they? You know, you don't mind paying these things for certain prices for things because, to be fair, you know you've got something special there, an exclusive. It's special. Do you know what I mean? If just 4 years down the line, I'm just going to say, "Oh, we're doing it again," it would hurt me.
I completely agree. The only thing I think was different about this one is because it was the first one and not a lot of people knew about it, sort of like, or actually trusted the model or sort of knew how it was going to work.
Yeah.
So a lot of people were sort of like, nah, I'm not risking it. It seems quite risky and sort of, but you're right, Si. It's like one of those sort of, actually, if you didn't back it, it kind of pisses on all the people who sort of like did take the risk. Sort of like,
well, how would you feel about that? Say, for example, Andy, that start of next year they re-release that. How would you feel being one of the ones that the rigmarole that you had to go through to get it?
I'll be honestly, a few years ago I probably would have been a bit pissed off, but now I'm just sort of like, I've enjoyed this for sort of like for several years now. It's like actually let someone else sort of like enjoy theirs sort of like for a while longer. So I don't want to be that sort of like gatekeeper sort of like to a toy. So,
yeah, that makes sense. The Unicorn HasLab is the one I wish I had backed, as mentioned in the chat earlier. Yeah, you did. The other one that fits the Dream Project ideal, Terry. Every other HasLab could have been sold at retail, in my opinion. Completely agree, especially over here. Completely agree.
Yeah, you've always said that, haven't you, Shabs?
Well, the funniest thing is they brought out the Legacy Falcon again, and it was strictly only a Galaxy's Edge thing, right? And we were all going mad over here because I thought, oh, I love that thing, and here's an opportunity to buy it. In a way, you might as well go and get the Legacy one. Watch Only One's video, and he compared them both. They're exactly the same, except for a few more bells and whistles on it. But they were adamant, no, you have to go to Galaxy's Edge for this. Then once the pandemic hit, they're all in Target. After telling us for ages, you can't put them in stores, you can't. They all were about 4 or 5 of them all. So we're like, well, you say it until something happens, but. I'm a firm believer of that. I like the HasLab thing. Don't get me wrong, for people that want to do it, and I like the exclusivity of it. I'd be foolish if I didn't. I've got an attorney sat behind me. Do you see what I mean? So it's nice to have something in a collection that's exclusive.
Well, again, to you then. So you've got that Eternia. So next year they say we're re-releasing the Eternia playset. How would you feel?
I'd be pissed.
Exactly, Mark. You would, wouldn't you?
Only Sammy's allowed one of them. Do you know what I mean? If G-Paul's got one, I'd go around and melt it. I would be okay with HasLab re-releases minus any tears. You see, that's what Andy said before about the yak face and stuff. If you do it a little bit differently and maybe add another $100 on or whatever, but how you do with that?
The thing is, though, with that barge, sort of like there wasn't any tears. The yak face figure was added on quite towards the end because they were worried about it not backing. There were no tears. It was just the barge as is. They added the figure afterwards. Well, towards the end. So,
like a little bump up. Yeah.
Before we get to size number 1, I just want to say as well, we're still at 50, 2 hours, 10 minutes in. So honestly, you've made my night, all of you. Thank you so much for supporting Si and Andy on this. It's been brilliant. Right, Simon, let's get to your number 1, Sonny Jim. Let's see what you've picked for number. I knew it was going to be this. I knew it was going to be this. But Si, explain to people your number 1.
The greatest villain ever created, ever. My number 1 will always be the G1 Megatron, without a shadow of a doubt. Now, these pictures I've had to find because my Megatron, like I said, it's in Anne-Marie's loft. It's well away. But I do have a box Megatron still with all parts to it. This just means so much to me. I had a nasty accident as a kid and I was left in hospital a long time.
Yeah.
And my Auntie Rosemary and my Uncle Stuart came in to see me one day and he passed me this and I just fell in love with it straight away. And again, with it being a Transformers box, and I don't know if Lou Reynolds or a few that collect TJT might agree with me here, but as a kid, when you got a Transformers, you felt like you got a proper toy. Like you was like with the box and the way it was, you felt like, oh, I've got to look after this. Somebody's paid a lot of money for this. And again, the Megatron, I just love Megatron more than anything. I collect anything that's Megatron. But again, as it comes to a number 1. This really is my number 1. I don't think it'll ever be beaten in my life, ever.
It's everything to it, and it's so iconic, Andy. Do you know what I mean? The look, the aesthetic, the pictures. Do you know what I mean? The grid behind the pictures. It's just superb. I mean, that at the back. If that doesn't take any of us boys or girls back to the 80s, I don't know what will.
Again, look at the design. Transformers was just amazing. Do you know? And the cartoon was amazing. The comic book was amazing. And even the movie, and I remember being so upset that Megatron had turned into Galvatron. But what made it for me is beginning as the artist in me. When I first saw that first image of Galvatron when he fully formed, it was so anime, it was so manga robot-y drawn that I was like, oh my God, Megatron's like gone extra cool here, do you know? But the original Megatron, I just love.
The whole presentation in it, look at it. Superb side. Great number 1, that.
That is excellent.
Did you have that as a kid, Andy?
No, didn't. I had a few Transformers, but I didn't have Megatron. It was only later on, sort of like that, I picked up a knockoff or a reissue of Megatron, the original toy, and then got a few sort of like later sort of like versions. But yeah, he's an iconic villain.
Yeah. Really iconic. And the thing upset me, so like when they did the 40th anniversary figures and they were coming out, I bought the Soundwave, and I will say that was quite disappointing really for a 40th anniversary figure. And I kept praying all year, please do the G1 Megatron. And they didn't. Do you know what I mean? They didn't even bother with it at all whatsoever. And I understand the reasons why, but I will also say for something as pricey as what they come out for now, there's not really many children buying this figure. Do you know what I mean? And I think if you put it with an 18, you've got to be overage to buy it and obviously use your head with it.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously you don't want no kid running around with something that looks like a gun as realistic as Megatron did. But it's just the love of that the gun shape of that Megatron, the pistol. Do you know what I mean? It just blew me away.
It's just, he's funny. He's one of those, he's just quiet when you look at it, don't you? Just like, so iconic. It's just like,
and again, to this day, I can't walk past anything that's G1 Megatron and not pick it up. And, you know, it was Brian that actually introduced me to the YOLO Park Megatron, and absolutely shit off. It's one of the greatest figures I have got. Do you know what I mean? They do a really good job of that.
Well, there you have it. So there is Si's and our Andy's top 5. Brilliant. Let's get to the chat before we go. And first of all, I want to thank you both for sharing.
No, thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
The stories that go with it and everything else that you said. I've loved tonight. It's been absolutely brilliant. I think everybody else has, like I said, we haven't gone under 50 practically all night. So thank you all so much. Let's just get to the chat before you. Are you all right for a couple of minutes? I'll just get through the chat. Yeah, you sure? I believe they re-release the barging parts with a magazine every fortnight for 3 years. Oh, brilliant. Hey, Matsy, I agree, and based on their rules, should not. If I think they repackage everything and offer a different figure set, I'd be okay with that. Yeah, that's a good point too. Yeah, so Matt says they're going to do a HasLab next year that will be a Garazeb Aurelius, Zeb's Razor Crest, but they won't do the sail barge. That'll be a bit wrong too if they do another Razor Crest, I think, because it's not going to be. They're not going to check.
It won't be that Razor Crest, will it? It won't be that one.
No, so but it'll be the same mold, though, Si. You know, it'll just be painted different. I can't see them ever releasing a HasLab because the whole point is that if you buy it then or you don't, I meant to be a one-off. But either way, I won't buy it. It's too bloody big. That's a good point too. I think that's why they go up in price, don't they? So yeah. And I think that puts you off as well because you say to them, I could have got this for 500 quid. I'm not paying 1,200 quid. So,
well, then you'll know for next time. So if another HasLab came out that you really liked, at least your common sense now tells you if you don't get it at this price, you're not going to be getting it at this price again. Do you know? So
that's true.
The thing is, I'd wishful thing and say, re-release, but they won't because it just completely undermines the business model for it.
I agree.
I don't think they should. You've got something nice and exclusive. I had my chance. I blew it. You know what I mean? I've still got a chance now, but I'm paying for it. I think that's good. That's a good thing.
G4 says here, I agree with exclusivity, but you can make it different with paint, figure options, etc. Both are valid options. I agree. No one's making anybody buy anything, are they? So that's a good point. You know. So Stu's here. Stu. Vintage Toy says I'm with Si on this one. There you go. So yeah, I think in a way you both made valid points. But when you talk about the price of something like this, because they are toys, you know what I mean? They are just plastics. If you're spending this type of money and it comes with the thing saying it won't come again, then maybe it shouldn't. If they do release it again, it probably won't be as grand as the first.
It'll probably cost $1,000.
Yeah, definitely. Let's have a look. I'm just going to go to Andy's and play with these. People love that. But for me, there's even more of a case not to re-release it. After all the people who took the punt and faith in it should be rewarded for its exclusivity. You make a good point, pal. You do.
Yeah.
I agree with Si. However, with the barge, we never got. See, and that's the thing. I think everything else, I wouldn't really have. I wouldn't be as lenient. But for that being the first one, and like Andy made a good point, saying a lot of people didn't really know or didn't really want to take the risk and all that. I mean, it's the first time.
Yeah, but let's be fair. Martin could have had one, but he decided he wanted the Death Star Vintage Collection a little bit more, didn't he? So don't be greedy, Martin. Don't be greedy.
Oh, Si, I can't wait to watch your episode on Martin's. Can't wait. Yeah, it was stupid not to ship worldwide. Yeah, which is weird because they sell worldwide. So why they did this HasLab as just a one-off in the States to me was. Can you get them all now though? Can you get them?
Right, I didn't know that, Mark. That it wasn't available worldwide.
No, it wasn't
I know Australia can't get HasLabs, can they? I remember you Mike saying to me they can't.
Technically, no. There was ways around it, and they did release it on eBay afterwards, and that was available to people. But they only had about 500 that went out, sort of like in Europe. So
yeah, that's one thing. Once you know that, Adam, it makes you a bit more lean. Well,
Well,
you know
yes
what I
and
mean?
no, because again, Andy's not from America; he's from the UK, and he's sat right behind him. Same as Boss, same as a few.
Yeah.
So it's still that exclusivity I like.
Or maybe a re-release, but only in the countries it wasn't released in. That's a good point. That's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah, but then say if I bought one from the UK then and took it over to Joe Fest,
Yeah.
and all the sell barges there are $1,200, but mine's from the UK, like a Pally version, so I want $2,500 for mine. You understand what I mean? There'd be that sort of discrepancy there with it being from different shows. Bit like how what the Americans pay for G.I. Joe for what we pay for G.I. Joe. Do you know what I mean? There's quite a vast difference in a lot of things like that.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
So I say no. I say keep it to the ones that have got it. Don't ever do it again.
I would like to get the Galaxy's Edge back if we've got a proper Force Awakens in TVC. Yeah, that makes sense. I'm afraid to say the barge has sailed. Oh,
Yeah.
brilliant. You'll comment. I'm sure you worded it fine. Did you draw that, Si?
What?
Behind you.
That, yes.
Yeah, beside you, all Disney princesses.
The princesses.
Sweet! Box Megatron, so jealous. Oh, did you draw the Megatron? So he said, sorry, I forgot the his tank was 315 quid. That's why I never said anything about HasLab again, because Scott Hawkspot and it was the his tank was the first Joe thing. And I think the Rancor had just died. The Rancor didn't do anything and so forth. So I said to Scott, it's not going to do it. It's not going to do it. It did it in about 6 hours. And then I realized the pull for G.I. Joe over here, I've never seen anything like it. And I had to apologize to Scott. I said, I'll never say anything like that again.
Beautiful, though, Mark. Even I'd wished I'd have backed that, and I didn't collect G.I. Joe. But that his tank was something else, the hologram on it and stuff. Loved it.
I loved his Megatron. Yeah, DTM, it would be Megatron. Yeah, Megatron. I totally agree. I like Transformers as a kid and weirdly never collect as an adult. I've been buying the mini bots and I collect the 86 series, so I do lots of like Transformers.
I buy Transformers to this day, but I only buy Decepticons. I don't buy anything else.
There we go. So Si needs to go to Disney and see the Megatron live. Megatron is really such an awesome villain. Does Si like G1 Megatron in robot mode? It's all about the gun, right?
That's a good point. To be fair. I mean, the robot mode was a bit of a letdown back in the day. I like compared to today's Megatrons that you pick up. But again, it was just everything about it. I'd be a liar to say I didn't mostly keep it in the gun mode, because I did. You know what I mean? Because I love that scene where he backflips and went into Starscream's or Soundwave's hand, and it was like the power gun then, you know.
Si's accident was a blessing and a tragedy. He emerged as the only Richardson twin to be able to.
True.
There you go. George saw it at Birmingham for at least 500 quid.
I keep seeing it, and I'm gonna crack, because I've been saying to Mark, I've been saying to Shabs for a few years now, I want to get another Megatron. I want to get a G1 graded that just looks immaculate. Ted saw one last Toy Fair for $4,000 before I'm not paying that.
Double expensive. I was going to say,
on average, about £900, a nice graded one. $950. I've seen one before. I think I will.
Well, that's not bad. That's about the same price as the Droid's A-wing.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Andy, don't start with that.
I can't help it.
You know what? I just said that about it being £1,000.
Andy flamed it up. You know,
I just checked that George wasn't here to clout me, so luckily, well, I jumped.
Why did the trigger form his junk though? That's true. Yeah, he had a.
Yeah, you could do, but I used to like put it round the back. What, having a Transformer Willy?
So fated when Shabby told him he was going to support Everton and he was in a coma for years. Basically, Smith Lord, if you touch it, it goes off. Very nice, TJC. Awesome 2 hours, guys. I loved it. Yeah, I'm gonna let these guys go because we're going. I could have honestly, you two have been absolutely fantastic. I could be here all night. Wonderful top fives, awesome pickups, awesome. Hi, Georgie. Just talking about you.
Hi, Georgie.
Yeah, great pickups, great picture. Incredible episode tonight, lads. Wonderful top fives from both legends. Thank you, Kieran. Thank you very much. So,
cheers, pal.
Like I say, you know where to find our size on Tub Thumpers with me, which will be coming back in a month or so. And then obviously size on Instagram and Delvian Andy himself, Delvian Seek, his link to his YouTube channel, Connor's been putting up. It is in the description, but also look at him on what is it, on Instagram as well.
Fabulous pictures. Great pictures on your Instagram.
Thank you.
Aslab will never do my dream, which is Dareth.
Can you imagine? I would love that, Georgie.
Why have they not made that proper 6 inches?
No, I'd love that. That'd be brilliant.
Yeah, it really is. Right, I'm going to fall behind here a bit. So if you've said anything, great stream, Shabby, Delvian were brilliant. Great sign, Delvian were brilliant. Sorry. Great seeing everyone later, everyone. Absolutely superb. You could have bought that graded Megatron from the Star Wars auction, good price at only.
Yeah.
Imagine.
There's a lot of expensive ones, isn't there?
I just want to thank Andy, Shabby, and Si for an awesome show. It made it even more special because Si didn't ask any questions already. You missed loads. So, like I say, on next week's show, we've got Epic Badger, Jesse, and VTR. So join us next Monday for that.
Oh, there's no chance of following this. Yeah. Absolutely zero. You've had the legends on tonight. Are we going to beat this fancy next week? No chance. Listen, everybody in chat, don't even bother watching because you think we're going to beat this week.
I like the fact you've said that about a top 5, and I'll just say 3 letters VT. Oh. wait, I can't believe I'm Jesse too. It'd be awesome to have him on next week. But anyway, please subscribe. We have a Patreon, and if you'd like to join that, helps the channel grow so I can make live streams like this. But apart from all that, it's been awesome. Thank you both so much.
Thanks,
we'll see you again.
See you later.
See you. Good night, lads.
See you later, guys.